Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Pass the Barb. I am your host, Adam Bartusek, and I am joined by the man who's always here, Mr.
What
Ryan
up?
Pinkalla.
Holding down the absolute fort right now. You know.
Holding down the fort. Honor is currently, I believe he's on Lake of the Woods with literally 0 cell reception.
Yeah, I think he's slime hunting right now. I heard muskies in the forecast. That's what I know.
Yeah, and Lake of the Woods is one of the best places to do it. So he's up there. We knew that was happening. And then Stolsky is still living in the 1800s somewhere out in Montana, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. He was putting the feelers out. He said he was going to try to show up. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But he's definitely bush lifing it right now.
Yes. So like we have mentioned, we were trying to feel everything out and see where everything would go with Pass the Barb. And like we had all mentioned to you, we want to keep it going. We want to keep it rolling. But we needed to find another person because
we're playing with a short bench. That's what it is.
We're playing with a really short bench. It's tough.
Yeah. And the boys got a lot going on. We got a lot of things happening. Can't always make it work. So we're trying to keep this thing rolling.
So basically what we decided to do was we were at a tournament the other week and we were up till like 2 a.m. talking to this person, and they wanted a live interview on the podcast as to why they should join the podcast. So Pink and I figured the best way to do this would be to just bring them on and interrogate them.
Let's give them a shot, right?
Yeah. So we'll bring them in right now. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be.
That is an eyeball there.
Insert clip, insert cheering, insert applause, insert funky rap music, insert just some nappy stuff. Because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, potentially, hopefully, I'll be joining Pass the Barb from here on out as a co-host, and in addition to a hilarious, crazy, shenanigan-filled outdoor podcast with a bunch of goofballs that I've got mad history with. So, yeah, that's what's going on. My name is Sam
Sobi. He's all excited for this. He thinks he's already made it. Here's the deal, man. So we all put ourselves out there right away at the beginning of this. So number one question you have to answer is, would you consider Jeffrey Dahmer a good hunter?
Absolutely. 100%, tenfold.
Explain.
This is where it's going to go now. I think
Have
he's
fun dancing that gray line.
I think he, he's definitely creepy, and to be a good hunter, you kind of need to just be slinking around and creeping around.
He's digging deep here, boys.
Do I think his harvest skills or meat processing skills are exactly up to par? Like, is he using, a shrink wrapper or a freezer to its max potential? No. So do I think he has some work in his game? Absolutely. But as far as just an all-around hunter, I mean, he was in the game a while, and I feel like he capitalized with, what he was trying to do per se. I don't know how to dance around this one, but I'm going to go with, yes, he was a decent hunter.
Okay. That's somewhat acceptable. Pink, what do you got for him?
Well, I mean, I guess I got to know, are you here for the grind? I mean, that's, we're here, we're past the Barb. We're out here. We're just recording. We're doing it. Where are you at?
It's easy to show up for one podcast. Can you be here for episode 33 when only 2 guys want to show up?
Yes, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for the grind. I have so much history with Adam, Pink, Honor, and Stolsky. I have stories. We could sit down in a chair and you could wake up when you're 95 years old and I could just be talking about one of the other co-hosts and the shenanigans and the behind the scenes that have happened throughout, this world we call the outdoors. So I think there's never going to be a dull moment, and I'm here for the long haul. It's not going to get repetitive, and there's always juice. We can always bring up more juice.
All right, that's good. I got one more because you have to get thrown under the bus still. In one of our first podcasts, we did a weigh-in of the worst types of anglers. So tell me what your least favorite types of anglers are.
Top three worst type.
Do you have examples, Pinkalla, that were mentioned? Didn't you have our boy Danny decals?
Yeah. We let off with, I believe, Dan Decals having a rusted out maroon Suburban, windows covered in Bagley stickers, just hoping for a shot at the Elite Series. That was definitely a highlight. I would say that we did kind of do a little wrap around there with some of the same things with worst types of boaters kind of came into play there too. It was kind of just a standard hatred of most other people that weren't us is kind of where it went.
That's kind of what Pass the Barb is in general. So if you're gonna fit in, you got to roast some people. So where are you feeling?
Okay, first and foremost, and I feel like I've seen it this year more than any other year, it's casual trollers. People who really aren't, experienced in trolling, don't love trolling, but they're almost casually trolling through the middle of the lake, kind of down a break, kind of wherever. And it feels like this year above all years, I've been like fishing and someone has trolled like 10 yards right in front of my boat. And then obviously however much line they have out, I'm kind of like, hey. And they're like, oh, hey. Which is like, if a pontooner or a jet skier gets really close to me, I actually don't even get mad at all. Just because I feel like, maybe they're not an angler. So maybe they actually have no idea. They have no clue. But if someone is just trolling a bait, literally right over where I casted, right in the tip of my boat, and we could dap up and slap hands, I think they're number one on my list in no specific order of anglers that I don't like, anglers I truly hate. The casual troller.
And there are always those people who look at you and they're like, I got that live scope.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We need a name. You need to throw someone under the bus right now.
Oh, it has to be an actual person.
It does now.
We're going to call him Billy Troll. That's what we're going to call him. I don't know his name per se, but I was out and I was doing some spring walleye fishing casting. Dude comes right next to me, turns around, does another turn, and comes right back over me. And I was like, a little close, a little close. Yeah, whatever. Been here all day. I'm like, what? On the main point? This is a 500-yard break. You've been here, and he continues down the point. He owned
time
the
to
whole
get the
point
braid rod out, boys.
Yeah.
I like it. That was good. We can probably accept that. Pink, you got anything else for this interview?
I think that's a good start. I think we would just like you to tell us why you should be the one selected to anchor the team here on Pass the Barb.
Oh, also, just real quick before you answer this, for documentation reasons, I do need your social security number.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you right now.
Oh, you can put it in the chat. You can put it in the
309.
chat.
It's
Okay.
I'll repeat it again. 8675309.
Got it.
I think we
Just
got
like the
that.
commercial.
I think we got it. Yeah, I think we got that.
You were born at the perfect time.
Okay, so why me? Why could I pull this off? Why could I, complete this circle you guys call Pass the Barb?
It's technically a square in the logo, but sure.
I think I'm gonna bring some fire and some flair. I think I'm gonna get a bunch of guests on, and I think I'm gonna fire some questions at them that they're not gonna see coming. I think there's a real wicked cool dynamic between Adam and Pink and Honor and Stolsky, and I think just like Honor throws some curveballs in there from the way he throws, we're all a little bit different type of pitchers, and I think we're going to kind of throw some different curveballs in there, and I'm going to spice some things up. I think
Connor just likes getting concussed in the middle of the game. That's his
exactly. But for some of those concussions, I was there for it. So I'm almost like a second reference just when Honor speaks. Like, no, I was there before he was brain damaged. Let me tell you how it went down.
That's
I
fair.
like it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Well,
That's
we'll
fair.
be in touch.
Yeah. All right. See you, buddy. I don't know, Pink. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I think we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board on this one.
But let's be real. We don't have a list.
We'll give them a probationary period. How about that?
Yeah. All right. We'll see how the episode goes. We'll see how the
bring
episode
him back
goes.
in.
Okay, now he's back.
All right,
Now he's
we're back. We're back. Walking on
Just remember
eggshells
the power of the kick. You can get kicked at any point in time.
here. I love it.
All right. So, yeah, Sobi will be joining us for the podcast from here on out. And yeah, it should be fun. Like we mentioned, me and Pink have been playing with the short bench for a bit. I know Honnor's planning on being back quite a bit. Stolsky's going to hop in whenever he can until his whole new residence gets figured out. But yeah, that's what we got going on. But current events wise, Pink, I was just thinking of this when we were doing that little interrogation, but we were talking about the type of boaters we forgot. Me and Pink fished. We've fished a couple Tourney Tuesdays since, but we were out on good old Metro Lake, probably the worst one for wreck boat traffic. And I think the whole day we just looked at each other and we're like, God, I forgot about that one. Forgot about that one too.
Dude, and I'm telling you, like, as soon as we did that, I went fishing other places, and just like in the first 5 minutes I was on the water, I was like, look at this asshole. Didn't talk about him.
Yeah, so I got two of them from that day. One of them, I did see a sheriff giving him a ticket, so that was the best part. But we forgot about park a truck in a boat lot, in a boat stall, trailer stall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we forgot that one. That was immediate when I pulled into that launch. I was like, oh, look at that. But the other one was we kind of went in on jet skiers a little bit, Honor mainly, but we forgot about the bunny hop, dude. I just don't
stand up jet skiers that do that.
Yeah, or they just they might even be in like a sit down one, but they're like, I'm just out here to rev it and come back down, and rev it and come back down. Yes, and that's all they do all day.
Yeah,
I don't
especially on some of those like really populated lakes and like around ritzier areas, whether that's kind of in your heart of your metro. There's especially on the weekends. There's so many like high schoolers or younger than high schooler kids that are just ripping these things that it's they've never, I don't think anyone's taught them some boat
etiquette. They're doing it for the boys, dude.
Yeah. They're like 14 years old ripping 80 miles an hour right next to grandma in the pontoon or right next to an angler. And it's just like, come on, Billy. Come on, Billy.
Yeah. Dude, I do feel like I left a lot on the table at that weigh-in because we didn't even torch. Absolutely should have torched sailboaters.
Yeah.
And we didn't. No, and then I had the most sailboater thing happen to me like 3 days after that.
I want to hear it because I got a sailboater thing that happened 2 hours ago too.
Okay. So I'll get into this in a little bit, but I was over on Lake Michigan the other weekend fishing, salmon fishing. And I shit you not, 6-7 miles offshore, right? And Lake Michigan's basically the ocean. And we're just trolling. And like, you got this whole goddamn lake. This guy in a they're trolling off a sailboat, okay? They're like salmon fishing.
Love it.
I don't even know how the fuck that works. Or they had like a little kicker on there or something. But there's a guy fighting a fish on the back, and they're like a quarter mile away from us.
They're hooked up.
They're hooked up, right? And we're just and like when you're trolling, you're sounding like a heading, right? And you're kind of just like, okay, there's a boat there. I'll turn this way a little bit, whatever. So they're coming towards us, and they just keep turning into us more and more and more. And they're like a quarter mile away and like closing. So we just keep like, okay, turn more. Like I physically can't turn more to get away from this guy. And he's literally driving into like our spread of rods. Like the guy that's driving is like watching the guy that's fighting the fish and not paying attention to anything else, like while they're driving.
He's not ruddering.
Literally, our outside planer boards are under his fucking bow. Like he's like in the middle of Lake Michigan. Okay. And like a
hot bite.
I'm talking within 5 feet of the bow of their boat. And eventually the guy fighting the fish starts yelling at the other guy, and the other guy just cranks the wheel, whips the entire boat around.
Yeah.
The whole like ass end slides into like the outside of our spread. Of course, they break their fish off. Now everyone's yelling at each other. It's a whole thing. But I was like, they had probably a quarter to like a third of a mile. And all they did was just continually turn into us more and more and more and more. And like, it's a fucking sailboat. I don't know how you even drive that goddamn thing, but apparently you don't. You just.
It's an absolute gong show.
Dude, it was just to be in the middle of like the most water. And have someone just drive right into your shit.
The Great Lakes.
Yeah.
One of the greatest lakes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and that another one we forgot out there, and I looked at Pink immediately when we got in the idle zone and came off pad. Literally came off pad, looked at him, and I went, I forgot about tube your kids through the no wake zone guy.
Oh,
And they were after it hard.
Yep. They were
Really?
just
Like,
pulling
were
them
they
right
actually-
through. Well, they were pulling them right through. No, they weren't like tubing, but like they were pulling them through, and they were just drifting right into the other lane. And you're
For
like,
sure.
you're gonna kill your kids
Because they
like,
have
no one's paying
1,000
attention.
feet of rope.
And underneath those bridges, like there really is not a ton of room for error. Or in some of those channels, there's not a ton of room for error because it gets shallow and shallow. So it's like you're kind of like, I gotta either kill your kid or I gotta like beach my boat over here or hit this pillar. I'm gonna kill your kid.
I'm gonna kill your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids on the tube are just going, ah!
They're just loving it. I gotta bring this up. This parlays from your sailboat experience to the sailboat experience I had today. I'm out on this lake not too far away from me. It's like a wicked wind coming right up kind of the gut of this lake. Not wicked, but like 10 to 15. And I don't know if this would be considered like a true sailboat, but it's those boats that have like almost like two I get like a pontoon. What would you call those? The
Like
two
a
tunes,
catamaran.
kind of a catamaran, like two tunes, and then a one giant sail with just like a little deck across it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know if anybody.
That's considered a catamaran.
Okay, so he's ripping. You know what I mean? Like he's going with the wind.
Yeah.
And he kind of does like one full circle around me playing the wind, and no big deal. Like I didn't care too much. On this backside, he comes back and he gets pretty close to me, and I was like, take it easy in my head. You know what I mean? He gets down like probably 150, 200 yards away from me. He's still just like riding this wind, and he like must have taken a left or something, like crossing the wind. His whole sailboat flips over on its side, and these are giant. You know what I mean? Like this is as wide as a pontoon with its sail that would be as tall as the tallest like tree in my yard. You know, fully flips over on its side, and he's just screaming. And I'm kind of fishing the spot out. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm kind of right at that distance where I could go up to him, but
you're not a sailor. What are you gonna do?
I'm not a sailor. But this pontoon ended up coming back for him, and they like all these guys grabbed onto it, and they brought this thing back down, and he got back up and right back down the lake. Like he had never.
Dude, all right. So since the odds of us actually getting back on this topic of sailing is so goddamn small, I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
So this guy, this is same trip. This guy, I was tied up at the dock, and this dude like rolled up to the dock and like tied his jet ski up, and I got to talking to him. It's some dude from like Chicago, right? I was like, oh Jesus, here we go. And so he gets to talking about sailing, and like his kid is in some like sailing race out on Lake Michigan or something.
Yeah.
So whatever. He's telling me he used to be on some like racing sail team, some like big shot fucking sailboat or whatever. I was like, nice. Sick. And so he gets to chat, and I'm kind of just like, yeah. And he's talking about this race. And then I actually got like semi-invested because he was talking about some interesting stuff. So it was like not windy. That was
your first mistake.
Yeah, I know. I fucked up. But he was like, he had beer. And I was like, But then I was like, no, I don't want your Chicago beer. Get out. But anyway, he's like, he's telling me how, it's like there's like no wind out there, so the race is going to take forever. So I was like, so what do you do if it's not windy?
Yeah.
Like during the race. So he's telling me, so they had, this is legit like race that they were in, like, multi-million-dollar sailboats, this type of shit. He said they were up by like Mackinac Island or something, some race up there. And it was like, these races are like super long.
Yeah.
And they got down to the last like 100 yards of the race. It was like hundreds of miles of sailing. They get down to the last 100 yards, and the wind is just like dying. Okay. And so it's like them like them and two other boats like coming towards the finish, and they're literally like less than 100 yards from like the race being over and like winning.
Just crawling.
But there's no wind, and then they stopped moving. And I'm like, so what'd you do? He's like, we sat there all night. So these sailing races don't end until someone wins.
You're lying.
No, 100%. Like if it doesn't get windy for like 2 days, they're just sitting there, fucking sitting on this boat, drinking, waiting for the wind.
No way.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That is incredible. We'll just wait it out. We'll wait it out.
They feel one little, and they're like, "Come on!" They're sitting there blowing.
They're all on the boat, just rocking, trying to get it to go forward a little bit.
You think you'd almost like hook something up, like plug in the wall fan.
Well, they said because if you start the motor, you're disqualified. So everyone
Okay.
just like they're trying to like hump their way into the goddamn finish line. But it's like a 70-foot boat. It's not like they're just like,
Yeah,
come on.
it's incredible. So like if the wind stops, the race continues.
Isn't that
You
the
just
most
wait it
fun
out.
thing in the world though? You ever heard of that?
Like you know how like in other like in bass fishing or walleye fishing, they might have like blow days where it's like too windy to compete. It's like the opposite. Like, oh, we got a calm day.
Yeah, but it's not like
Can't practice today.
It's
It's
not like a
calm day.
baseball game where like, oh, it's rained out. No, they're just like, no, you just sit there.
That's incredible.
Just take it
I had no.
until it gets windy.
I would have never guessed that in probably a million years.
I wouldn't either until this guy said it, and I was like, no shit.
I guess I never thought of that in sailing races.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's
anyway,
good.
there you go. There's your little nugget.
Yeah. Oh, current event wise though, kind of what we've been up to, I guess. So for me, since the last time we all chatted, I had a tournament out on Homme Dieu. That was finished like a little bit above. It was in like 27th, so not great, not bad. But
Did you slam the fish? Like slam a lot of fish?
no, honestly, it was really bad. Homme Dieu's got a ton of fish in it, and I was telling Voigt the whole time there, I'm like, well, even if it's bad, you'll catch a bunch of fish. And after the first day, we looked at each other. I'm like, I'm not catching a lot of fish. Like, I don't know where they are. And that was kind of the whole thing with a lot of the trail, to be honest. A lot of people were not catching them. However, Pink, you'll appreciate this. I ended up getting onto a pretty good pattern in practice, and it was throwing a spook over cabbage beds in 7 to 10 feet of water.
That's actually
And
so
dude,
sweet.
like I could catch them on a swim jig, chatterbait, like whatever. Like Void originally got onto it flipping them. And like I went up to it and I was like, this is taking too long. I wonder if I can just get bit on a top water and just figure out which ones have better fish in them. Literally first cast with the spook, 3 1/4 pounder. And I'm like,
You're like, that'll
cool.
work.
Go to the
That's
next one,
incredible.
catch another 3 pounder. And I'm call Void. I'm like, dude, just throw a top water. He's like, really? All day? I'm like, yep, all day. And that's literally what I did the rest of practice. I had a bunch of other rods on my deck, but all I did was throw top water. And it was so much fun. It was.
I feel like open water, top water fishing for largemouth in the upper Midwest is underutilized big time. I never do it. People I know don't do it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm down
it's way
south,
more
like
exciting, dude.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm about
and it was
that's sweet.
It was super fun. So that was kind of our way of searching them out. And was getting quite a few decent bites. So by Derby Day, I was pretty confident we could get to 14 to 16 and a half, maybe 17 if we got lucky with a 4 pounder. And dude, I threw that spook like all day tournament day. I have no idea what changed, but I caught one fish on it. So I have no idea what happened there. Yeah, it was literally the same conditions. Actually, there was even a little bit of a ripple. It was even better. And
did you get any big bites on the spook in practice? Like,
yeah,
were you getting? Dang,
you just wore them out, brother. You wore them out.
I guess I caught one fish off of each spot, and apparently there was only one.
That's it, dude.
Did you try a fluke?
No, I didn't throw a fluke at all.
Oh, well, you fucked up. There you go.
Yeah. I actually don't even know if I had them in my boat. I think I thought about it, but I already had like 14 rods on my front deck because we were junk fishing so much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was fine. Nothing too crazy came out of that one. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Then went down to Big Stone to film that. I know Sobi was there for that event. Fun getting back in the Champions Tour swing, filming everything. I guess the only thing, I mean, Sobi can dive into this more than I can because I was lucky enough that I just sat under a pavilion when it happened. But at halftime, so there's in the middle of the Champions Tour, there's a lunch break from 11 to noon. And I do interviews, get a few things, and then we blast everyone off. And DeMarkey and Brett will always ride out with 2 of the guys we haven't gotten a lot of content of in the first half. And then me and Newman will hop in his boat at about 12:15, 12:20. And see who's really started catching them in the second half, and I go hop in with them. But we send everybody out, and we had a meeting that there might be severe weather. Well, literally, as we're blasting everybody off, there is a storm blowing up halfway through the middle of the lake. And we're like, man, I hope it's just rain. And I guess Sobi can basically pick it up from here because we just watched everybody go up Big Stone, turn around the islands, and we're like, good luck.
I don't know if I was just fired up and ready to rip, but during the storm meeting and like talking to some of the other dudes, I was like, I was just mentally past this storm and I didn't really take it serious at all. I was just like, they're like, oh, let's have a storm meeting. You know what I mean? And then you kind of look at the clouds and in the horizon, you're kind of like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it looks like it could rain, you know? Yeah, it could rain, maybe. And like talking with Matt Peters and some of those other guys, they're like on their radars and they're like, this is going to blow up. Like this is about to blow up this lake. And I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like during practice, I was out there when it was blowing, I swear, 25 miles an hour, like 2 days. I'm ready to fight it. I'm ready to rip up anything. If I get a little wet from the rain, I don't care. I like run to the first spot right in the second period. I fish for like 5 minutes. I'm like, this doesn't feel good. I want to run like way, like 20 miles up the lake. You know what I mean? Like I gotta go to my juice. Like rip like head first into this storm, which still I'm kind of like, you know, I think everyone was kind of blowing this out of proportion. And it was like a wall. And like all the waves are freaking rocking like 4 feet and they're just rolling real heavy. And the rain is like a wall and it feels like needles on my face. This like 15-year-old Marshall who's next to me, who's a total trooper, was like, ah! And I was behind the console and I was like, oh, I was like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, can't stop because now I can't really see much. And I'm like looking at the map. I'm kind of by these sketchy islands. I'm like, we got to run like 1 more mile through this, dude. And I'll try to get us over to shore. And we're just like, boo, boo. And I'm like really looking over, getting pelted in the face with this rain. And this is like I said, this is not like rain I've felt before. Like I'm getting absolutely just throttled in the face. And I finally I migrate the boat. I guess it would be to the west shoreline. And there's like these 2 other boats that like appear out of this like rainy wind fog. And you can just see they're all just standing there with their backs to the wind. And I like roll up to them. I'm yelling, it's a great day to fly a kite. And they're like, I can't hear you, dude. Like, what are you yelling about? And then it kind of started to lightning and stuff. And my Marshall, I knew I felt bad from getting beat on, but I just felt horrible for this young dude. And I'm like, we need to get to shore. So we get to shore and then me and him just like walk around this farmer's land until we knock on his door. And we're like, hey, can we just like stand in your barn? I see you got an open barn there. Can we just post up in there for a little bit and get out of this? We're like, you know, we're just beaten. And he's like, oh yeah, all good. 2 inches, quarter rain on the digital. And it's only been raining like 20 minutes. And I'm like, we need to get out of here. So I just left the boat bilge on and we shacked up in the barn for a little bit. And it was, I think we had was it an hour and a half delay where we couldn't really.
Yeah, it ended up being an hour and a half. Because then the crazy part was like that rainstorm hit the lake, Pink, and we were getting calls from like a couple guys. We were like, call us if it's bad, because like we can't tell. We're down the lake. The lake's 30 miles long. So then all of a sudden we get calls from a couple guys of it is hailing and there is so much lightning, and we're like, oh, so much. So we send out a text to everybody like, hey, tournament is suspended, get to shore. Like any fish logged aren't going to count. And I think everybody was like, oh, thank God. And they all like went to shore and were like, get me out of this. Yeah. And so the funny part was every single one said it was like just a wall of water. But then
horrible.
So it gets down to the south end of the lake because it was like kind of going southeast and it was going fast at first. And then all of a sudden it parked on the southeast.
It sat on the lake. Yeah,
it just sat on the southeast side, and there was like 10 boats who wanted to fish down on the south part. Well, there's 60 boats or 50 boats further up the lake, and I'm like calling DeMarkey and Looters, and I'm like, hey, are you guys okay? Like, what's it up by you? And they're sending me pictures of just bluebird skies, and they're like, why can't we?
And sunny.
Yeah,
they're like, why can't we fish? And I send him a picture of right outside.
He's like putting his sunscreen on.
Yeah,
it was
like DeMarkey told me. So DeMarkey was with Moyna at the launch. So like old school, right? Moyna's like Moyna had looked at Colonel, and because Colonel was like, okay, where do I need to find you to get DeMarkey to move him around to different boats? And Moyna just looked at him, legendary line, just looks at him and goes, if you were thinking about gas, I would, because I'm going all the way. So I'm looking at the storm and I'm like, oh God, DeMarque. And he didn't have a rain suit with him.
He did not have a rain suit.
He did not have a rain suit.
I remember coming in at the end of the second period and I like looked at him and I said, were you out there for that? He said, and he like nodded, said, yeah. I was like, do you have rain gear? He's like, no. And I was like, come on, really? And he's like, yeah. He had no words.
So DeMarque told me that they were running up the lake and they're doing 55. That's what the speed limit of the Champions Tour is. And they like see this wall of water and like him, Moina, and the marshal all look at each other and they're like, that can't all be water. Like, it can't be that bad. And DeMarque was like, that was the dumbest thought I ever had because we got right into it and it was just like you were in a washing machine, just immediate soaked.
So
and
how
DeMarque told me he was like bent over looking at his feet and he had his eyes closed because like Sobi said, he said it hurt so bad. And Moina wasn't letting off the throttle. He's like, I'm going. And he's an old FLW tour guy. So he said after like it felt like 20 minutes, but he's like, it was probably a minute or two. I like opened my eyes and looked down and I was in like 4 inches of standing water.
It was incredible.
He was like, where'd this come from? But it was funny because 30 minutes into the delay, they had ran through the storm to the north side and it was sunny up there. And I asked him like, how bad was it? And he's like, well, it's great up here. I'm like, really? It's that nice? And he's like, Bart, I was the most wet I've ever been in my life, and I am now dry.
Yeah, that was the weirdest deal. It's like we were like, everyone was sweating buckets in this first period. It was just humid and hot. And then this cool air comes in, and then the freaking rain, and then it went back to just like this still humid day. It was just weird weather. Weird weather.
It was a very weird, like June severe storm line that rolled through, and holy cow, did it rain! It was unreal.
Yeah. I've got a bunch of wicked GoPro footage from it, so definitely check out the Champions Tour video. I'm gonna give some of that to Adam, and then check out the video I'm coming out with it because it's cool.
So where are you
or maybe
running that? Like, because you got this kid with you that's obviously like losing his mind, but he's trying to like play it cool. But like, where's your comfort level running this water? Because you said it's like what, 4s? Or is it bigger?
I was getting really freaked out because we were not like deep into it in the middle of the lake, and we were still like, it was really bad where we were. And I knew if I came around this farther corner, it would have been like I got a little tin boat, you know, I got just this little light aluminum boat, and it was already like whack, 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 whack. So I just bailed, instant bail.
Dude, Sobi, I think one of the funniest parts of that morning, though, we were all talking about it after you guys left. Like, all those guys get paired up with like their pros or whatever, and some of the kids know some of the guys like Willard or Chad Smith, like some of the more notable national names. Some of the guys know, or like Noah Schultz from Dominating Around. But it's the first time we've had like a YouTube guy who's, you know, you have a pretty good audience and everything. People know who you are. And it was hilarious because your kid got announced to be your marshal, and we watched him go from like being asleep and just get me to my boat and send me out to be a marshal to like shaking, like convulsing, so excited. And like we were all joking around. This kid just went from like 0 to 10 of like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna Sobi. What am I gonna do?
He just took him to the war zone.
Oh yeah, he went to the war zone. He saw me at my lowest and he saw me at my best, and he like,
oh my god.
I hope he had a good time, and he was a trooper. It was crazy. He had old pictures from going to the St. Paul Ice Show meetups. I think he even went to your guys' meetup as well.
Oh really?
Meetup, yes. And I think he had went to an old. I met some of the other guys, marshals there. They had went to the old like Thorne Brothers meetup from back in the day. Even me and AP, like crazy. Like they all had these pictures. Yeah, these pictures. No, this is just me and AP back in the day.
It's not not the one when we duct tape Mav to the pole.
No, I think this was before this.
Oh,
I think it was the first one we did, because that was the second one. Yeah.
Damn.
That's super cool to hear, though. No, that's awesome. So yeah, that's what I've been up to lately. Otherwise, I have been just chilling in my basement editing. So getting excited for the holidays, and kind of at a lull in the tournament season right now. But we're gonna hit mid-July, and it's gonna be like gas the rest of the year. It's gonna be nuts.
That's okay though. I feel like you excel at, you know, offshore fishing in general. So it's like any little funks these lakes are in, you know what I mean? Let them let them get baked on for a couple other weeks, and then you're going to come out swinging.
Yeah, I just want them to be in kind of summer pattern. And I'll catch them shallow in the summer too. I just want them to be like on sand or like doing stuff, not like where I'm in 25 feet. Now I'm in 3 feet. Now I'm over here.
Yeah.
Now I'm over there. I ain't about that. I don't like that life.
So what's cooking? What's cooking with you, Pink?
What's going on with you, Pink?
Dude, I still fishing. I mean, honestly, I've been like just wasting my days away at work, but I've been going to do a little fishing. It was just like I said on Lake Michigan, which was badass. I went there for 4 days, like over would have been like a week ago. And dude, I haven't been over there in a while. Not gonna lie. Like, used to fish over there a lot. Now it's like once or twice a year only. And I heard that the bite had been pretty damn good. So it was like, all right, let's get it done. Because it's like, dude, it's brutal to drive that far and then get your teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because it's like you want to harvest. Because that's what it is.
Absolutely,
it's a meat run. Like they're like going and trolling for salmon is not like, I don't know.
Did you capitalize?
We did, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
So like day one, I'm talking murked them.
That's exactly what you want. Kick off the trip.
Yeah. Kick it off strong. So get there. And we like, dude, it was sick because you can rent like a slip in the marina, like a dock slip.
Sweet.
Right. So like I've been there before where like we just like got a slip and just like slept on the boat, like sleeping bagged it like under the boat cover or whatever, like in the slip. So I have some family in Milwaukee. So we left the boat like in the slip rigged up and then we just like crashed at their house or whatever. But dude, we had the boat there. The weather was awesome. So like day one, we went and we smashed like a bunch of big kings, like a bunch like 12. I think the biggest one we had was like 19 pounds. So we had like a bunch of like 12 to 19 pound king salmon. And then we got we only caught a few coho salmon, but then we got like some decent lake trout too. And we had some shots at some really big rainbows, like 10, 12 pound rainbows. But we had one and we broke it off, which was badass. Like it's just a big nasty fish. But dude, the absolute screaming kings, dude, like pick up the rod and the reel is just dumping line. Like that one, I think the initial run, it just tears like 300 feet of line off the reel.
That's insane.
In the first,
you were telling me we're out fishing tourney Tuesday and like we're reeling in 1 pounders and he's like, yeah, Bart, imagine this. One of the kings we hook into, I just pull the rod off the holder and it just goes 300 feet.
Yeah, like, dude, I just come off of that trip where it's like those are really badass fish. Okay, like they're big, they're mean, like they're so powerful. And now I'm fishing with Bart. And we're literally catching 1 pounders on a spinning rod. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I have ever done.
And you should have, Sobi, you should have seen how pissed he was. Well, you probably saw it in the footage editing because the video will come out, but. I start just stroking 1 to 1.5 pounders on a Nico rig.
Oh
and
my!
Pink is behind me throwing a drop shot to the same spot. I'm like, dude, it's right there. And like I'm re-rigging and everything. He's still not getting bit, and I'm just like, it's right here. And I chuck in and just set the hook, and he's like, just fucking give me one of those. Like this is so stupid.
So I do, but I get it. Like
finesse fishing, dude, is like, I know it works, okay, but it's like. I don't know, man. Like
it's kind of like it is kind of lame. Like after you hear about a trip like that, or you just hear about guys that fish the salt, or just guys that even musky fish. Like I'll always be obsessed with bass. It'll always have my heart, and panfish too. Like especially in the winter. But like I do get it why people think like we're probably super lame.
Well, like right. So it's like I just come off of that, and I'm just like, dude, let's just like flip. Can we just flip? Can we like flip around? Like
some hand-to-hand combat.
So I'm like, all right, and I caved, and I'm like, all right, drop shot, right? Rig that up, pitch it out there, and I end up catching one like 8-incher on a drop shot, and I was like, wow. And then and Bart's just wheeling them, and they're not even big. It's not like I'm like butthurt, like oh my god, he's just like wheeling 5 pounders, and I'm just.
But you are like, I want to get bit. Like okay,
like,
now I'm
after like the 10th one, he's like, what the hell?
I'm just like, I'm like, all right. And they're like not eating a drop shot, like right there, saying, like a robo worm on a drop shot.
Yeah.
So then he gives me one of his and I tie it up. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I pitch it out there and immediately catch her. And I was just like, it's stupid.
He's like, I want to go home.
I don't even want to do this. This is so dumb.
Not to get too tackle techy or whatever. I know Adam loves the Nico rig. Have you tried the hover rig?
I had one rigged up. I never threw it that day.
I
Yeah,
haven't. I know
I've never
what it
thrown
is,
it
but
either.
I've never tied it up. No.
Okay. I
My
don't know
whole
much
plan
about
with
it.
Tourney Tuesday is to mess with things like that, and I totally didn't. So I'm mad at
Yeah.
myself for that.
But it also is something that is absolutely not in my wheelhouse of things that I would want to tie on my rod.
For sure. It's tough to do something
Yeah.
like that when you just like don't have confidence in it yet.
So
Like,
you
I
need
think
to
I'm-
understand.
you know.
We pulled up to our first spot last Tuesday, and he pulled out a mag spoon and chucked it
Come on.
I did.
I thought
right
Rich
in
was
front of
kidding,
Steph
dude.
and Rich.
He said it. He said it on the GoPro, and I thought he was just being funny.
He literally said, "Is Pink throwing a mag spoon right now?"
That's incredible.
Because the other thing is like, you get bit, get the goddamn net, bro.
Get the net. He just lobs a mag spoon out there.
They eat that shit, dude. Though.
They do.
I
They
think
don't see it a lot. They don't see it a
We'll
lot.
move on from all that in a second, but I do think the best part
Anyways.
of last Tourney Tuesday is the fact that
Yeah.
Rich and I were both racing to a particular spot, and we
Yeah.
both absolutely missed it. And I
Didn't go
left,
to the right
and
place.
he just meandered around for a while, and then he was like, "Oh, there it is, 5-pounder, 5-pounder, 5-pounder," and I was like, "Well, almost got it."
Yeah,
That's a good spot, and I
Right.
love how you guys both started there. And that kind of
we both
that,
tried to. That's really hard. Tried to, because I turned around and me and Pink are watching him and Steph just wheeling
Slap 'em.
1-pounders, and we're like, "Oh, they must have got on it." Meanwhile, he's looking at us, going, "Well, did they get on it?" Because he knows he's not on it. And
Yeah.
we're like,
yeah.
it
No, it
just
was
the
a shit
dumbest
show.
thing.
It was a shit show. But yeah, no, coming off of like a badass trip to going to like a 1-pounder fest was brutal.
the smack talk though, I'd say between you guys and like Rich's boat at Rich and
Yeah.
Steph, it was incredible. Like,
I,
and if this helps wrap up this segment, like what's been going on, it's a video that really showcases Adam and Ryan versus our good buddy Hellabass and my girlfriend Steph the Great in Tourney Tuesday, and the banter is so good. So I've been in the lab working on that, and then working on the Champions Tour event. So there's a lot of videos to come out.
When's it drop?
You guys, tomorrow will be the Tourney Tuesday from last week.
all right.
Oh, perfect.
So you gotta
they'll
watch
get
it.
like they're getting a bunch of videos coming up here,
Yeah,
because we got another
it's-
Tourney Tuesday. We're fishing tomorrow.
Yep. I might hold that one to the next week, and might do the Champions Tour on Thursday.
Well, yeah, because we got a break
Yeah.
week, so that's fair.
It's an off
Yeah.
week, yeah.
Yeah, that works out
But
well.
yeah.
But yeah,
All
so
right.
anyways, that's what's been going on in our life. I'm sure people need to keep notes on your phone over the 4th. We need to send out a memo to all the boys, and notes on your phone over the 4th, because we should have basically a 2-hour podcast of telling
Yeah.
July 4th stories.
Right on.
But
Like that.
on to the next segment. We are going to go to what in the world is going on, Sobi, as our new podcast co-host, you have no idea what this is. So what this is basically not what's going on in our lives necessarily, but what is going on in the outdoors industry, or maybe just in the world
sure.
in general, something we want to talk about. Pink, do you have something you want to talk about right away, or
I
you
do.
want me to roll into mine?
I do. I have something, and I want to bring it up immediately.
Yeah.
Normally Pink is all over this, so
All right. So this just went down like a week ago. So like we've talked about before on this podcast about like bass tournaments and like how the payouts and that kind of thing, and how it's
Yeah.
like it's not all that. Like even the pro level is like compared to some other sports like golf and stuff, just
It's
like
really
crazy.
not.
That's-
No.
Okay. In bass fishing, it's not. But on the salt side of things, there is some sick money being thrown around right now.
Really.
And there was there's some of these are like pretty big tournaments, a lot of people in them, but there's like lots of ways to win money.
Like, are you
So
talking tuna? Or are you talking redfish? What are you talking? Or just
A lot of
salt
these
in
tournaments
general?
like multi-species, but a lot of them are billfish tournaments.
billfish.
So like
tournaments. Okay.
sailfish, marlin, stuff
okay.
like that. But then they have like meat. They have like I love it. They have like meat categories. So there's like wahoo, tuna, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, dolphin.
how much meat you can bring in? Is that how?
Well,
it's
they're
weighed?
just like meat species, right?
I just see Ryan online right now, just drooling, just watching these.
So okay,
So there's small side topic. Sorry, Ryan, but how badass of a tournament would it be? If you got to bring in 5 fish and it was the amount of meat that got weighed? So like, not only do you bring the fish in, but you have a guy like carving this thing perfectly, and they give you like a time limit of like you only have this amount of time to fillet it. And we just got Ryan there just dealing, because you're like, I know he'll get it.
Yeah,
Getting
no,
the
I like
walleye
it.
cheeks.
I think
It's like,
that's
here's
coming.
an
There might be like
round.
a pass the Barb like invitational, like catch and cook classic kind of thing.
I like
It's
that.
gonna just be like harvest
That would be
mode.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we make everyone bring them in. Like we do make fun of the ice fishing tournaments sometimes because everyone's like, catch and release the big ones, and then they kill them all. But it would be great if we did an ice fishing tournament one where you brought in 5 fish and it was weighed by the amount of the fillets.
Fillets
And
only.
That would be sweet.
And we
Boneless
gave
fillets.
people literally it was like we came up with like 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes to fillet them. So everyone gets in, we start a timer and they go. And then we weigh it all at the end. Gotta be unreal. Weigh it in like grams.
It could be a thing, dude.
Pink, I could see you hosting a tournament like this, almost like you said, the catch and cook classic.
Yeah.
Shore lunch classic, where it's a walleye tournament and anglers go out and they fish this walleye tournament for half the day. Then the other half of the day is they immediately come in, flip up their folding tables, flip up their Coleman grills, and they
now
have
it's
to
like
create
a
a dish.
cooking competition.
And then it's a cooking competition. Then judges walk around, then they'll give them points or place them, and then obviously there's awards given for everything. Dude. A true catch and cook tournament.
And it would have a badass trophy.
Yeah, and your allocated points, how you finish it by weight.
We got to cut this. We got to cut this segment. We're giving up our $1 million idea.
Anyways, that's a good idea.
All right. So anyway,
just as we were talking about how there's no money in tournament fishing, we come up with another no money tournament.
Yes.
Tell us about the money in this.
No, dude, there's so much money involved. Okay, so this particular tournament is in North Carolina. Okay. Oh. And it's like a multi-species saltwater tournament. And it's called the Big Rock Classic. And it's like been going on for a long time, like 80 years or something crazy. Yeah. So the reason I'm bringing this up is there was probably one of the biggest disqualifications that I'm aware of in fishing that occurred at this tournament. Really? So the guys that would have won, they weighed a 619-pound blue marlin. Okay. And second place would have been like a 484-pound marlin. So they were like 135 pounds between first and second place. Okay.
Yeah.
So
which in that realm, is that like close or is that blowing it out?
No. Like this would have been like in a bass tournament, if somebody would have had like an 8-pounder and the next guy had like a 4.
Oh, sure.
So like they had, and especially for North Carolina, like it's not known for big marlin. Okay. And anyway, this marlin tournament, these guys, there's like multiple categories that they would have won money in. So basically this one fish would have netted them $3.5 million. Okay.
Oh my God.
One fish. They fought this thing for 6 hours offshore. And so they would have won like the two and a half mil for like actually winning the tournament, plus all these side pot things. Plus there's a $700,000 incentive for the first marlin caught of the tournament, which would have been this fish.
Are you kidding me?
Okay. So like all this would have added up to $3.5 million. So now by rule of their tournament, the fish was, it was straight hype. I've never seen, like, the Bassmaster Classic is one thing. Like it's, oh, this is like such a cool event. The weigh-in at this fucking derb is unbelievable. So this boat comes in because they must have been on the radio saying we got a giant marlin, whatever, because they bring it to the scale to weigh it, right? There are thousands of people at night on the dock. It's all like backlit by these spotlights, and they're backing this big sport fish boat up into the dock. People are just losing their mind, dude. And then they put this marlin on like a crane and pick it up out of the boat. It's the sickest video. But anyway, so they come to weigh in the fish. They weigh the fish. They get the whole like certified everything. So one of the rules in these types of tournaments is that like if a fish is attacked by a shark, so like that happens a lot, like saltwater fishing, right? Like a fish gets sharked, that it might like, bite the tail off or bite a portion of the fish off. So in these type of tournaments, they call it like fish mutilation. So whether it's from like the boat, like if they hit the prop, or like a shark bites them or something, right? So there is an extremely, so they fought this fish for 6 hours. Okay. And there's like a superficial flesh wound on the tail of this fish, like right above the anal fin. Okay. Like it's a 600-pound fish, and it's like a 6-inch like spot, like that big on its tail, that the judges of the tournament determined was a shark bite. And based on that, it would disqualify the fish from being a legal catch in the tournament.
No.
Even though they couldn't prove it was from a shark. Like it could have been from the line tail wrapping the fish or just from them trying to winch it into the boat with a rope. Like they couldn't prove what it was from. So the fish was disqualified after the weigh-in for being like an illegal catch, even though they won the tournament by like over 130 pounds, right?
No.
So then the
way.
second place team walks away with a $2.5 million payday because they didn't cash the like $700K for the first fish of the tournament.
By technicality, basically. Yeah.
Right. So these guys literally get $0 and their one fish would have been worth 3.5 million. So now there's like they hired lawyers. They're like literally filing a lawsuit against the tournament directors and everything that disqualified the fish because they're like, how can you prove that it was even a shark bite or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
All this shit. But like at this point, like there's so much money involved, right?
Have they gone into detail like why a shark bite would be considered mutilation of fish? Because that seems so much out of your control. I understand if you hit it with your prop or you do this, like you somehow, interacted with the fish. So the reason they like way or a different way, but like the shark thing is like kind of out of your control.
Right. But so here's the reason they do it. So it's not just for their tournament rules. It's like, so the IGFA, which is the International Game Fish Association, that's like all the world records are through and everything. Right. Yeah. So like for saltwater species, like any IGFA record would be discounted or whatever if it's attacked by a shark, because if at some point during the like fight with a fish, if a shark attacks your fish or whatever, they say that it's like the fish isn't fighting to like its full potential or whatever, because now it's like been attacked, that it's no longer considered like a legal IGFA catch at that point.
Oh, that's crazy. Which is I would think it would be something similar to like trying to weigh a dead bass for big bass. Like, because they could be like, oh, you just found it bit by a shark, and you just like, oh, we caught it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought they.
But they can't. But they don't know that that's even what happened. Like they say, well, no, we've examined it and we believe that it's a shark bite on this fish or whatever. And there's pictures of it, like you can see it, and it's like, I don't know. So they're taking it to the court to try to get their $3.5 million reinstated.
That's crazy.
But
how could you not? You know what I mean? You got to fight it a little.
Yeah, and also the boat that ended up winning with the 484 pounder was, the name of the boat was Sushi, that ended up winning the tournament.
That's unreal.
And they have been like completely silent because they're just like, I don't fucking know. We got the money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whatever you just say, you know what I mean? You guys are the officials. We're not.
They're talking. They're talking about all their buddies. Cash that check. Buy that house now.
Yes. Yeah. Right now.
But get this. So not only was that just the payday for like the Marlin category, so the overall tournament purse, like, because there's a lot of these tournaments, like one boat will win multiple categories, like win the Marlin one, win like the Wahoo division, win like these multiple ones, right? Or like, like in that clam tournament where there's like one where it's like a stringer where it's like multiple. Yeah. Like there's all categories like that. So the overall tournament purse for this one tournament was $5.8 million.
Who's putting this money up? Like,
isn't that unbelievable?
They have just like really giant non-endemic sponsors that it's like brought to you by Don Disco.
It's a saltwater game. Man. If we could ever somehow get it involved in bass fishing, like,
I'm just saying the money's out there and it's just not coming through like in the freshwater game right now. But it's crazy because, like, granted, these are heavy hitters, right? Like a lot of the boats in this are like, 70-foot, 80-foot boats that are like participating, that are like these big sport fish teams and stuff. But not all of them, there's a lot of like guys that are just going out on their center console and ripping and trying to get it done. But badass, and like it was interesting to see how it plays out because it's fresh. Yeah. Literally, it was last week, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was like, I've never seen that much money go up and then be like controversial, right?
Yeah,
and it's not like it's not like they cheated or something. It's just that the fish was disqualified on a technicality that they still aren't sure that they're going to be able to prove either.
But could you imagine just like someone asked me, what does Ryan do for a living? Oh, he's retired. Oh, really? He retired? Yeah, he won one saltwater tournament.
Yeah, he caught one marlin.
He caught one marlin, retired.
Yeah,
lived on $100,000, put the rest into retirement, and he's been good.
And I don't know, have you seen these guys that do these marlin heavy hitter tournaments? So they travel all over the world because a lot of them are like in Australia and places like that.
Yeah, and
so these guys literally, it's like a crew, 5 or 6 guys, and they live on like 100-foot yacht, and then they fish on like a 75-foot sport fish.
Wow,
that's like their life, dude. and they just like they travel from one place to another, and then they have like an owner, obviously, that's like, you know, it's like a racing team, right? Where they have an owner that's bankrolling the whole thing, and they just travel around doing marlin and sailfish tournaments all over the world.
That's so sweet, actually.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's
it's like
incredible.
badass. Yeah, it really is. So
could you
it's a
imagine
thing,
the videos of that would be so cool? Like if they did a Ponic series, like what I was going to lead into talking about, like if they did something like that with that, like put that on TV,
and maybe
YouTube,
they do.
oh my God,
It may
I'd
just
watch
not
that.
be big, but it's it's crazy. It's crazy that
I need
it's
to
out
look
there
into
and there's
that.
people doing that kind of money, dude. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
So, that's nuts.
Anyway,
but
I got to rip to the bathroom really quick. Just a quick leak. I'll be right back.
Okay, fine, Sobi. All right, Pink, I'll tell you about
strike
the one
one.
that yeah. The first ever bathroom break in Past the Barb history. Sobi's got to go. But I will lead into my what in the world is going on. So this isn't necessarily a news thing or anything like that, but I mean, it's going on in the world right now. The other day I've been, no stranger to, I'm editing a lot. So I'm getting back in the groove, and I haven't watched a lot of YouTube videos probably in the last 8 months. Like when we started doing the Chronicles basically again is when I stopped watching fishing videos for a while. Cause like,
sure,
you're just editing videos, turning them out. And like, I don't want to watch anything else.
Right.
I'm sick of watching fishing basically at that point. So the other day I was like, man, I need some inspiration. I need some ideas. Like, I just kind of want to watch some stuff and get hyped up. So I had seen that our boy DeMarkey and then Sam Moore. Well, actually, I don't think Sam is technically helping with it, but his company, More Media, is running it. I think Logan's doing it. But
I thought it was DeMarkey that was shooting it, dude.
DeMarkey's helping. I talked to him about it. So DeMarkey's second shooting. Yeah, DeMarkey's second shooting a lot of it, but it's getting edited by Logan. Okay. And just major shout out to Logan. Like, so I watched all the 4 episodes I have out of Tour Level Gold. Like, I literally watched the first one, and I was like, I have to watch the next 3. Like, it was that good. It is by far the best. I think the best documentation of tournament fishing I have seen in the last 5 years since like I love Brandon's videos and they're super good, but like this is such a new way of doing it. Like I was almost curious if the NWT like was partially paying for this to be done that way because the way they're showing it with like have you guys watched it yet?
I watched 2 of them and they're really good.
I watched 2 episodes. So.
Yeah, with the way like having I believe it's Brent Carlson, but the journalist talking about it and like previewing the areas and like having like a narrator to it, and then having Hoyer and I think it's Dwayne Chaum. That's how you pronounce his name. It's a guy literally winning everything in walleye fishing right now. And then Max Wilson and Owen Wilk. Yeah, Wilson, and then Max Wilson, and then Owen Wilson.
I don't know any of these people, but
I just know Hoyer, and I know
interesting.
I know Wilson a little bit, but like just the eye they're doing it in and the way it's produced, like, dude, I hate walleye fishing and I hate walleye tournament fishing because I think it's probably really boring. And watching this, I'm like, I like watching this more than tournament bass fishing. Like this is really well produced.
It's definitely like a different format. So I wasn't like the first one I was kind of like, because I was like not used to how it was like being laid out, right? But then I kind of got into it a little bit. So like we'll see. I'll look at a couple more. I mean, I think that it's shot like awesome, dude. Like
for sure.
The like kind of the way they're like telling the story is pretty sick. I would agree with that for sure.
The storytelling is phenomenal.
Because it's like Adam, you got to get invested in it. I think it's kind of like that type of series, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's like following their whole. Is my understanding? It's like following these like couple guys whole season. Is that what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think Adam hit the nail on the head. Just the story setup and the approach by having the narrator there, and he's like an analyst, a journalist, and he used to run all these different tournament circuits and stuff. Like, he has a great voice. And he just speaks really, really well. But he gets to kind of talk about these anglers in a light that these anglers wouldn't talk about themselves and what they're doing. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's talking about John Hoyer, and it's like, coming up and having the success after he's boomed in the past 5 years. He walks in a room now, and people go, "That's John Hoyer." And John Hoyer feels like I'm John Hoyer. I'm doing stuff off the wall. I'm doing it different. I'll throw swim baits for these walleyes. There's a sense of swagger and there's a sense of confidence when he walks in a room. And this journalist sets up, you know, a true feeling that kind of the room gets and the field gets when a competitor like John steps in there. And it's just, he says stuff that I really think helps set the stage for the rest of the series. Like, it's really sick.
I'm just hoping, like, because from what I saw, it was kind of this, like, even when it was like a grind, they were still kind of this, like, uplifting, like, oh, we'll get it done. Like, I hope it gets to, like, I want to see some shit. Like, I want to
watch the next two. Yeah, watch the next two. They're good.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm just saying, like,
it's good.
Like, I think that's what a lot of, like, series like that miss. It's like they want to make everyone look like the biggest badass in the world, but it's like, I want to see people suck.
For sure.
Show me that.
Yeah. And that's what I think. That's what I mean. You see that in like the next ones, and then I'm excited for the newest ones because Dwayne wins, and I think they all finish in like the top 11. So it's like going to be really cool to see like that. But yeah, I mean, major shout out to those guys. It's just. It is so good.
You know,
like if you watch the Bassmaster stuff, the way I would equate it is like think of if they had Kyle doing Brandon, Carl, and then like I don't know who's a rookie this year.
Jay.
Like then add he's not a rookie, but add in a Jay Shakirat and then like an actual rookie from this year. So add them in. So they got the 4 of them, and then you have Zona as the narrator, or like Pete Robbins, who's a writer.
Do you know how they selected
it would be
these guys?
So fucking sick. Like it would be so cool. I believe they're all Dakota Lithium and Aqua Traction pros. I don't know how they got selected, but
I'm just curious. Like if there was a reason.
Anglers, I think all those anglers like pooled together the sponsor money and are like, let's.
So they
do
were probably
this.
just like homies that were like, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad someone did it in the walleye world because I think I was talking to Mark Kortz about this like 4 or 5 years ago.
There's definitely not a lot of walleye
ago.
content out
3
there.
years ago. It was whenever I started doing my thing because I was talking to him. I was like, why is there nothing in the walleye world? Like, you guys need to do this. Plus, it would be 10 times better in the walleye world because, like, there's no secret that they kind of make teams and share a little bit of info. Like, it would be the best show. Because you have 3 or 4 different guys, and that's what they went and did it. And like, dude, it is awesome. It is really good.
There was definitely a void, and they filled it. Like there has not been high-end coverage of tournament walleye fishing on a production side that's like really ever been done.
Yeah,
no, and this will help it grow. Just like when Brandon started doing it, it helped everything grow. I'm sure there will be more that sprout up, and I hope it is because like. Dude, that's like I don't need to watch your GoPro video of your tournament or whatever anymore. Like I don't watch any tournament videos really anymore. Like I want to see the cool storytelling stuff. So that's why I watch Brandon's and a couple others. But for the most part, like that was awesome. Like I will watch every single one of the videos they put out. But yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to bring up in the what in the world is going on. Just if you haven't watched that series yet, Tour Level Gold, it is really good. I highly recommend it. They're like halfway through their season now, so they'll have 2 more videos coming out from this last one, and then I think they got 1 more regular season tournament on Saudi Marie. I don't know, whatever that Michigan Superior Canal is. Sault Ste. Marie, is that what it is?
That's where they're doing the next tournament.
That's where the last one is, and then the championship's on.
So there's only five episodes total.
No, but there's a practice. So they have one leading up into practice, and then the next episode is how the tournament goes. They're all like 20 minutes long.
Got it. Okay.
I guess I'm just 4 out now. Yet. Yeah, so there will be 8 total for the regular season, and then I mean some of them are gonna make the championship. So I'm assuming there will be 2 for the championship as well.
All right. So scope it out. What is it? Tour level gold, right? What does that mean?
Tour level gold. It's tour level walleye. It's a good name.
Oh, I guess I didn't.
Tour level gold. Yeah.
Got it.
Kind of a double meaning because they're going for gold, and then they're fishing for the gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good name. It's good. Produced very well. Good job, Logan.
Nice.
Sobi, do you have anything on the what in the world is going on? Otherwise, you could be more prepared for the next episode. and we can move on. But what do you got?
I'll be more prepared for the next episode. One thing I just want to touch on is, what are your guys' thoughts on the team dynamic in walleye fishing and how that really hasn't caught on in the bass world?
Well,
I know there's people that travel together and stuff like that, but a true team on the walleye side, these guys are sharing information, they're sharing spots, they're sharing waypoints, and they're sharing payout too. You know what I mean? They're sharing money.
Yeah. Here's
Well,
my.
You see it with the Johnston brothers.
I will say that
for sure. That's the only one.
I don't know that. I mean, because like the format is obviously similar, right? Where it's just like one boat fishing for one check, basically. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like whether it's people like that or not, I would love to see on any side, whether it's like walleye, bass, whatever. I think there should be more team tournaments and not like 1-2 guys in a boat. Like I think there should be multi-boat team tournaments.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be so badass. And like to have like 3 boats fishing for a collective limit or something.
That would be sweet.
You know what I mean? So it'd be like a field, like say there was, you got 3 boats in a team fishing for
Didn't you fish a derb like that in college?
Yeah, we did. And it was 2 boats per team. But I think that like lends itself to being like badass and like kind of bringing that, I don't know. I think the team aspect is lost in fishing like it is in like a lot of other sports, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you could have guys that are good at one specific thing and you're like, they're on our team because they do that. And we have them do that. And then we have these guys doing something else. So like you could like cheer for your team. I think that would be kind of badass to be able to go.
I think it'd be really cool.
And
like
do more of like a bracket style, like competition team, like versus another team.
We should do that sometime.
And
where
Jeffries have talked about that type of thing where like you would have, say, like a team Minnesota or a team Oklahoma, a team Florida or whatever. And then you have the same type of schedule. But say you're on the St. Lawrence River and, you got team Minnesota and it's, say Felix, Fighter, and Douglas. Like you can look at Felix or whatever it is. You can look at Felix and be like, you're going to Lake Ontario, baby, run. And then Fighter's like, I'll stay home, and Dougie's doing whatever.
Strategize
you can strategize and figure it out. Like, and I do see MLF doing that a bit with their team format. I don't think it'll catch on over there just because I don't think there's a lot of people watching, unfortunately. But I do think it's a good idea.
And it would be like way more like controversial and shit. Like there'd be so much drama in that. Yeah. Like having guys doing crazy stuff, or like you could have, like, I think you'd throw out a lot of rules that exist right now.
We should pilot it. We should pilot it through Attorney Tuesday, one of these weeks, where we go like me and Steph are with you two and with Bo and JR. And we'll split winnings, split spots. We'll be coordinating with each other. Just like own a lake.
People would lose their mind
out of Attorney Tuesday so rapidly.
but like all of a sudden, we're calling you in, or you're calling us in. Get over here. Get your. You know what I mean?
But
we're
like,
wailing on it.
Like if you could film that well, how badass that would be. And like, dude, because there would be so much drama. Like if you had a tournament series that was like that, where it was like, okay, teams versus other teams. And like you throw out a lot of rules that exist in bass fishing now, like being able to just like block a spot off from other people and shit like that. And then you can have your homies like come in and like, you know what I'm saying?
Be incredible.
Like that kind of stuff would be insane.
We should pilot it.
Dude,
we could come up with a pilot. We would need the right videographers and the right stuff, but we could pilot it sometime in the fall and do some type of deal with a bunch of our buddies and make some sort of series out of it. It'd be sick.
But yeah, I think
no one steal our idea.
Cool. Because like, dude, I remember in college, right? Like our team didn't share any information.
Like none.
Like I would say our team was like super, just like everyone just fished hard and that was that. But then we competed against other teams that were like obviously sharing information, like big time. And like you almost felt handicapped where you were like, well, what the fuck? Because even the guys that sucked were catching them because they knew where to go or like whatever.
Absolutely. Or they just knew a program or they knew that, you know what I mean? Like looking back on it, like had we been more open and stuff, especially for some of these giant down south fisheries, like giant reservoirs, it's like if we had been more open, dude, we just would have had more dudes.
We were too competitive is what it was. Because dude, our team as a whole was extreme, like a regular, just like team club tournament was like cutthroat.
Oh yeah,
Like
it was
this
life
was not
to
like
death.
for fun.
No, not for fun at all. No fun.
No.
It's
Yeah.
legit. It's true.
Yeah. So then
Go.
like once you traveled somewhere and you should have been sharing information doing this stuff, everyone was like, no.
No. I'm not telling him nothing.
Y'all wearing them out, caught a few.
Yeah.
But no,
No.
like I think there's definite advantages to the team like sharing info and like you're talking about that. Like if other people aren't, they're handicapped.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, the whole thing in the walleye side, I guess, like my thing is, yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I know a lot of people who are I think that's part of the reason, though, that you hear of the NWT and certain things not growing as much is because people get scared of that, like going against the teams of the legends who are raking in a bunch of money. However, I think you're starting to see that field level off with some young guys who are kind of coming out of nowhere and doing really, really good. I think one thing on the walleye side that has leveled that compared to old days is live. With live scope and mega live or whatever it is, like that has kind of eliminated a lot of those things. Whereas like back in the day on Erie, those three guys would just divide up portions of the lake they were going to go troll, and then they call their buddies. We're like, we're all doing this one line, boys. And that's what's going on. Whereas like you see Hoyer go out there with live and he just goes up in the weeds and beats everybody on Erie in the weeds. And you're like, what?
That crazy.
And people are like, you can't do that. And he's like, well,
Casting.
I did.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, this is super fun. So that, I think that is kind of leveling things out now. And I feel like, there was even in old bass, like there were not teams, but like there were squads, there were travel groups, there were guys sharing stuff with each other, there were guys buying waypoints, and like kind of with the new no info rules on the bass side and everything, like you can share with each other. But it seems like with kind of a flip over of a generation, it's turned more into guys who are like, well, I'll help my buddy out to make sure he catches a couple, but like I'm trying to win $100,000. And it's very different, I think, compared to the old days. I think it's almost kind of going away in the walleye thing, but I could be completely wrong here. But we're seeing a lot of guys doing really good. Yeah, we'll find out that tour.
But needless to say, I think there's definitely a blank space there for like a team aspect. Like everyone's on a team tournament situation. Like, dude, like that would be so fun to compete in, dude.
Multi-days, like those really big bodies of water, like a wahi and stuff like that. Like imagine having a team member, like he doesn't even fish that day. All he does is run jugs of gas to people. That's all he does. He just makes sure he's bringing
that
gas.
Type of shit would be insane.
He's your gas
That
boat.
would be insane. That'd be Stratego.
Yeah.
That'd be
you can do some crazy stuff, man. But okay, anyways, so that is what is going on in the world. Next thing up, Pink, do you want to do a 1v1?
Let's do it. I think this will be more rapid fire because I think you guys will be pretty good at this.
Explain to the folks what 1v1 is.
Okay, so this is just kind of
you may remember a bunch of animal noises. Just trying to jog people's memory.
So we did an animal noises one. I think we did fishing personalities as another one where we played like a voiceover from like YouTube videos and you had to guess whose videos they were.
That's pretty sweet.
And I think it was good. Like we tried to kind of keep it in everybody's wheelhouse, which is kind of tough because not everyone does the same things. But I think this one is good. So this time, instead of like trying to guess sounds or somebody's voice or whatever, so I have listed here all different bait colors that are exclusive or semi-exclusive to certain brands. Okay.
Ooh.
So the way this is going to work is it'll be you and Bart head to head. And I have 3 different colors listed for each company here. So if you guess it on the first one, you get 3 points. If you guess it on the second one, you get 2. And if you guess it on the third one, you get 1 point.
Okay.
Because you should buy.
And as soon as we think we know, we just shout it out.
No. So you say your name to like buzz in.
That's your buzzer.
So if you think you know it, say your name, and then I'll say, "Yep, go ahead, Sam." And then you're like, and then you tell me what you think it is. And if you're wrong, Bart gets to guess.
Okay.
And so if nobody gets it in these 3 colors, I will give one the name of a bait that company makes.
Okay.
And then you'll be like, that'll be like that. And you'll get it after that. Like it's be very obvious. Okay. So I have
the company, correct?
You're naming the lure company that
Fire
makes
away. We're
these
ready.
colors. So I'll give you, here's an example. Here's an example one. Okay. So this doesn't count for any points. The example would be, so here, Falcon Lake Craw, Blue Sapphire,
Bart.
Sexy. Okay. Go ahead, Bart.
Would that be Zoom?
No, it would not.
Fuck.
And then Sexy Sunfish.
Oh
shit. Okay.
What it?
Yeah, no, this is good.
This is
okay.
Good.
So this would be Strike King. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I knew it was Zoom or Strike King.
That's how this would work. And then if you didn't get it, I would have been like, okay, this company makes the 3XD. And then you'd be like
Strike King.
All right. So if like you don't get it by the cut, because I didn't pick like the easiest ones. I picked like ones because a lot of the exclusive ones are ones that like nobody uses.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So I gotta find like a pen or something. That was the only thing I forgot. Somebody else keep score. Sam, you got a pen right there.
Yeah, right here.
All right. So I'll tell you how many points you get or whatever. All right. So here we go. Leading off 1v1. Number 1, Gobi Bryant.
Bart,
go ahead.
Z-Man.
Correct, sir.
Oh,
For 3 points right off the bat.
I knew that. I was just
fuck yeah. I'm good at something. Finally.
I will say Z-Man has some of the best color names.
They do. Yeah.
Because the other ones they had were Meat Dog and Bubble Gut.
Meat Dog.
All right. Here we go. Number 2, Carbon. Number 2,
Sam.
Sam, go ahead.
I want to say that's Zoom.
Incorrect. Bart, do you have a guess or you want me to keep going?
You can keep going because I get the next guess. So I'd like to hear what the next one is.
Moldy Fruit.
Oh shit.
Carbon, Moldy Fruit.
Is it an open water company?
I can't tell you that. You get no other hints, dude.
Yeah, shut up. Okay, yeah, go to the next one.
All right, now Sam, you're back in for this.
Okay.
Because you didn't get on that one. Bleeding Hot Olive.
Sam.
That's
Rapala.
Correct, sir. For
Shad
1 point. For 1 point.
Yep.
That's the Shad Rap of choice.
All right,
Bleeding Hot Olive.
Here we go. All right, we're getting into it. I like this. All right.
Yeah, here we
go. All right.
Yeah.
South Africa Special.
Oh.
Bart.
That
is Big Bite Baits.
Incorrect.
What the fuck? Yes, they literally make that. I was flipping the other week.
They do make it.
All right, I'll hear the next one.
That is so stupid. This is rigged because that's a company that does make that color.
They do. I said it's exclusive or semi-exclusive. Now, all 3 of the colors are only made by them.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it. I'm up.
Watermelon Slice. I'm going on to the next one. Watermelon Moon Dust.
Let's go.
Any guess? Otherwise, I'm going to the bait. Sam.
No, actually, no. I'll wait on it.
No, because he's gonna say the bait, and we're gonna race.
Well,
if I guess something, do I still get the bait and get a guess?
Well, if you're both wrong, we'll go to the bait.
I'll go Bart. I'm gonna go Roboworm.
Incorrect.
Dang it.
That's what I was gonna choose. I'll wait.
All right. The bait that they make is called the Dead Ringer.
Sam, let's go. Lake Fork Tackle.
Incorrect.
No.
All right, I got one more bait because I knew you wouldn't get this one. The Swamp Crawler.
Bart.
Gambler.
No. Huh? There's people screaming at
all right, this is a failure.
Right we'll go Sam. Trigger X.
No. Zoom. This is Zoom.
That was Zoom?
Really?
Zoom. Yeah.
Okay, you made that tough. That was good.
I know.
I know.
Well,
that's
most
good.
of them are really easy from there. All right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So no points there. All right.
That's still bullshit. I should get half of a point for big bite baits because I was literally flipping South
Nope.
Africa special the other week.
I don't care. I don't care. All right, brown purple laminate. Mimizu. Baby bass.
That really helps.
I'll go Sam.
Sam.
Strike King.
No.
Bart Yamamoto.
Correct.
Ah, dang it! I should have said Yami.
All right, for that.
Give me that point, Sobi. Give me that point.
Yep. Adam's
All right,
at
here we
4.
go.
I'm at 1.
All right, let's kick this into high gear. Uncle Rico.
Ooh.
Anybody?
I know this.
I'm gonna go Sam. Reaction Innovations.
Incorrect.
Ooh, that was a good poll though.
Yeah.
Okay, I get the next one. What is it?
Slick
needed
blue
those two.
alewife.
Ooh. What was the first one?
Uncle Rico.
I'll go Mega Bass.
Incorrect. Firetail hot perch.
I don't know this.
I suppose I could guess. Like
You could guess, or we could go to the bait, and you're just gonna have to race to the buzzer here.
We could both get. I have
repeat.
another
Repeat
guess.
what you just said. Repeat what you just said.
Uncle Rico, slick blue alewife, firetail hot perch.
And we both missed one there, so we can both go in. I'm gonna go Bart.
Bart.
I'm gonna go
ahead.
Bobby Garland.
Incorrect. God.
Dang
Good
it!
I thought
Thought
you
he was
hammered
trying to
this
get
one.
sneaky.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico sounds so familiar. I freaking know.
I know.
this.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. It sounds so familiar.
All right, we going to the bait then?
I thought you were really good with reaction innovations. It reminded me of Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it when I say a bait.
All right, hit
Okay.
it.
The flicker minnow.
Sam
Bart.
Berkeley.
Sam
I
got
said it first. I said my
Boom!
name
No, I
You
first.
did not. You got
I
it. way
said my
before
name
you.
first. Yes, I did.
Dude, it wasn't even close.
I was
must
in
be on
right
a
away.
delay
Boom.
then. I said my
Maybe.
name, and then I was waiting for you to say yes, and then I was going to say Berkeley.
I was in right away.
He got away before you. Sorry. Must be my internet.
Bullshit.
All right. So that's
You're
for
still
one.
ahead.
That's
It's still
for
4
one.
to 2.
All right, here we go. Bruiser Flash.
Bingo, Sam. Missile
Sam.
Baits.
Correct.
Boom! That's
There's
3 points,
three.
baby.
Ooh, from
yes,
the outer
1, 2,
ring,
3,
baby.
4, 5.
What?
5 to 4 now. Took the lead.
My Wi-Fi skipped. What was it?
Missile. It was Bruiser Flash Missile Baits.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Steph Curry from the outside. All right. Here we go. Next one. Matt Skeleton Shad.
Bart,
Bart.
Mega Bass.
Correct.
Oh,
Right back in it, baby. 3-pointer.
Wow, that was well.
What were your
returned.
other guesses for that? Was the next one like Wagasaki something?
M Shad.
I wouldn't
Yeah, I
have got
would've
that.
got
Glitter
that.
Wild Gill.
Oh, I wouldn't have got that one, but I knew the
Oh,
first
me
two.
neither.
All right. Here we go. Next one. Silver Cheek Ghost Minnow.
I'm gonna go Sam. Is that Kitech?
Incorrect. Ooh, this
I'll
one
take-
you might be gut shot here. 2.
I needed the points. I had to
Nishiki.
figure-
Ooh, God. Oh.
Say it.
What's
Say it
the
again.
name of this company?
Nishiki. Oh, it's eating on you, isn't it?
Is it? Ah!
Pull the trigger, or I'm going to the next one.
Go to the
Let's
next
go to the
one.
next one.
All right, Sam, you're back in. Aurora Green Perch.
Is that Bart? Is it Mega Bass again?
It's not. It is not.
Okay. Was there any doubles? Because that
No,
was
no,
I forgot
there's
to
no-
ask that. So okay.
no. They're all different.
It's not. I suppose I can guess then.
Yeah. Free shot here.
I'll go Sam's. A Daiichi.
Incorrect.
They just
All right,
make
so we're
those.
going to the bait, boys. This company makes the pointer minnow.
Bart Lucky Craft.
Correct.
Ah.
For one.
I don't know a lot of Lucky Craft action. I really don't. I need to be more well versed in the.
They got
Make
some
a
stuff.
great jerk bit.
They
All right,
do.
here we go. Here we go. UV rotten cucumber.
Ooh, Bart, is it UV tight lines?
Incorrect. Whitetail Wisconsin walleye. Free shot here. Going to the third
People
one.
Screaming at home right
I
now.
know. People are
Yeah.
hating you. Hating.
Okay, go.
Lunar alien eel pout.
What?
Dude, go.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
All right, we're going to the bait then.
Yeah.
Tap back in, Bart. This company makes the pounder.
Sam Bulldog.
That's incorrect.
Oh.
That's not the name of
Bart.
the company.
Is it Muskie Innovations?
Correct, sir.
Ah! right after I said it, I was like, "Is he gonna give me another shot?"
All right.
I'm just
all right,
pulling
here we go.
now, Sobi.
Dang
That
it, dude!
was-
I
that
should
was
have known
for
the
one,
white tip
for
walleye.
one.
I know, but I
Where,
still.
where we at? Where's scoreboard? Where are we at with the scoreboard?
Adam with 9, Sam with I think just 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 3 left.
I should have
Okay,
got
here
the
we
Muskie
go.
Innovations
Here
one.
we
Well,
go. This
it's
is good.
coming down to it here. All right. Number 1, bitch and craw.
I'm gonna go Sam at Reaction Innovations.
Incorrect.
That I was literally
You
gonna
wanted
guess
to be that so bad.
I want it to be it.
All right.
I'll take the next color.
Bee height delight.
Ooh, oh shit. Well, we already did Z-Man, didn't we? Oh, Bart Evergreen.
Incorrect. That's a good guess though. I would have guessed that too.
Okay.
Volley
All
back.
right, Sam, you're back in. Number 3, plumberry. So you got bitch and craw, bee height delight, plumberry.
I totally thought that would have
Zoom?
been Evergreen.
Incorrect.
He already did Zoom.
Yeah, I guess he did. Yeah.
Then I'll take one. Is it Roboworm?
Yes, correct.
What? I thought you already did Roboworm.
No,
Nope, I guessed Roboworm.
he
but it
guessed
wasn't.
Roboworm and he was wrong.
I thought that
I
would have been
Love
Evergreen.
Roboworms.
We'll get you some.
Yeah, you didn't
bitch
say
and craw,
morning,
dude.
Don. That's the only color you throw.
No. MM3 Margarita Mutilator. Freaking Aaron's Magic. There's a whole bunch.
I had to cross up all the
They're
Aaron's
all
ones 'cause I was
brown
like,
and purple or pink.
all right.
Oh,
All right, we got 2 remaining. Are you still in this? Are you within 6?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Sunset bug.
Oh, I know this.
Any takers?
I know this one.
I'm playing defense.
All right, we're going to number 2.
Yeah.
Sprayed lettuce. Sunset bug, sprayed lettuce.
Oh, wait.
Going to 3.
Yeah.
If you don't get it there, you're done. I win.
Toxic waste.
Ooh, oh, is it Bart? Is it Big Bite?
Incorrect.
Is it?
They have one named close to that.
Sunset bug, sprayed lettuce, toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
Anybody? Anybody?
No.
No.
We're going to the bait.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You're gonna hate yourself. You're gonna hate yourself right now. This company makes the Bandito bug.
Sam, I was gonna guess Guggen Baits. Son of a
I
gun,
thought
dude.
you were gonna get it on 2
After the toxic waste, I wanted to say it, but I wasn't sure.
because that was their spin on sprayed grass. Was the sprayed
Yeah.
lettuce?
Sprayed lettuce. I should have got that one.
All right, all right.
Oh, I
This
knew
is it.
that one.
This is the last one. I think it's already
Shoot.
done. But what's the
It
score
is.
right now?
It is. It's over.
No, I
It's
think
10
I
to
can
6.
tie it up right here. No, I think it's
10
9.
to 6. I won
It's-
one and you didn't mark it down.
Okay.
I literally
Could be
got the
10 to 6.
Roboworm. And
Could
you didn't mark
you're
I
the
knew I
judge,
should've
right?
had a
Could this one be worth 4 points per
This
se since
is
it's the
for
last?
all the marbles.
Some would say a daily double.
This is bullshit.
All right.
I've never won one of these things.
All right, here we go. Yeah, Bart, this is your shot. All right, bluegrass craw. Anyone? Going to 2. Cellmate.
I'm gonna go Sam. Reaction Innovations.
I wanted it so bad.
All right, give me one more color.
Spooky nasty.
Oh, that's a sweet name. I don't know though. That is
I
a
have
sweet
no idea.
name.
Give
We're
me
going
the
to
bait.
debate.
Spooky
Fat
nasty.
Papa.
You already
Sam.
it's not-
Hula popper.
No.
Hula popper's a bait.
That's not even a.
They make a bunch of colors that have got odd names.
Yeah, but it's
they
a
don't make
bait,
these
not a
things.
company.
All right, you guys obviously
Yeah.
didn't get this.
No, what's that
Spro.
one?
Spro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't
All right,
throw a lot
that's
of
it.
bro stuff.
All right, so Bart finally got a W.
I finally did it.
Dang. That was
I finally
good. That
won
was
one of these
good though.
competitions. We just had to get the idiot in the room and get rid of Hana.
That
and
was
Soldier.
good.
honestly-
I
it's
could have made
honestly-
a run at it. I should have got the Muskie Innovations one, and then I really think I
thought
could have got the
someone would have
Guggen
scooped
bait one.
Guggen
It
on
could have
2.
been different if my brain would have been screwed on a little tighter.
Yeah,
I think
I'm-
that was
I'm-
a
were
good
just-
one.
You were
I'm so-
wheeling. I mean, you had you on the ropes there. So
I'm pretty surprised you didn't pick a Reaction Innovations one, because that, like, every time you would say a spicy name, I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to say
Reaction
Reaction
Innovations.
Innovations, but I don't think that.
Reaction Innovations has got like
That's
the
Reaction
dirty, the
Innovations.
dirty Sanchez and all those.
yeah,
I should have got Roboworm. Damn.
well done, boys. Well done.
That was
was
good.
good.
That was good.
I
There's,
like that.
there's a lot of useless information there.
That was good. Yeah. So I guess next thing, we got a couple more listed, but we will accelerate. We're going to go to a new segment here. Pink's going to take over once again. This is for all the foodies out here. Pink, you want to talk about this? What's this new segment going to be called?
All right, so we're trying to figure out a way to get some food involvement in this podcast. So
Yeah.
this segment's going to be called the Twisted Fork. We'll come at it probably almost every time we record, because this is going to be kind of a shorter one. But I just want to break down kind of some interesting, an interesting food item that I've undertaken each time we record. So I'll give you a little background on it, kind of how it went, and then we'll just kind of talk about it. I mean, I think there will be like probably some conversation involved from the boys here. People are going to get involved. This is food. People eat it. We
all love it.
So here we go. So this week, this was coming off the heels of this salmon fishing extravaganza. Came home with a lot of meat. Probably had like 70 pounds of just meat, fillets. Unreal. And one thing I've wanted to do for a long time, haven't messed around with it. Ever since I've been a kid, I've been over there, like Lake Michigan. They have these dope like fish cleaning stations, like public, big stain, like they're badass. And people are always just hacking the sides off of fish, throwing the carcasses down like a grinder thing. Well, there's always like Asian people there, or like these like old Russian guys just kind of lurking in the shadows, like waiting for people to fillet fish. And they're always scooping the heads. They always want these salmon heads from these big king salmon. And I never know what they do with them. I know people make soup is a big thing, like all around the world. Like there's tons of different like Asian recipes for this. I know it's big in Jamaica.
Fish head soup,
different fish head recipes. So there's like a lot of variations on this. So I've been interested in messing around with this because there's like a lot of fish that I feel like have a lot of meat on their dome, like northern pike. I mean, big walleyes, like stuff like that, especially salmon. Like these king salmon heads are enormous, right? So I was like, I'm doing it. So I kept several of these king salmon heads. And I went after it because I was reading some stuff, man, and people talk about all these different types of meat on the head, how it's like so much more fatty, and I was like, everything about that sounds good. But then they're talking about stuff like, oh, you got to eat the eyeballs, dude. Unreal. Just slurp them out of there, and I was like, come on. But I was like, I'm doing it.
Quite it.
Yeah,
you're gonna do it. You're not that far in. I wouldn't do that part,
dude.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm all
in.
in.
You have to.
I'm all in. So here I am. I got this salmon head. I split it down the middle, right? So I got like two halves.
Just like you did to our good boy Bobby.
Just like Bobby, dude. Just right down. Okay.
Next year,
So
maybe next winter we'll do an unedited version of the Bobby butchering for people. We'll see if
Just
you
like
can
a
get banned
reel,
on
just like
TikTok.
10-second little reel, just
Just
nice.
That
be
needs
like,
to be on
that's
your
what
guys'
was cut out of the
Patreon.
video.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, dude, I had a solid knife here for this operation. Like I got it down in there and just had to work it down, cleave this thing. And so now I got two, and they're like bigger than my whole hand, is like half this fish's head.
What
right?
did it look like when you sliced it in half? Like what
Okay, so you got,
what does the meat look like when you slice it straight up in half?
so it's weird because
basically
the inside is just mostly like white, because it's just like all the like inside of their mouth and like so like when you cut it, there's like their like skull portion, like you cut through it and it's just like solid, like it's not like open, like hollow, like you'd think it would be. So it's just like a solid piece of bone on both sides. That's like where the eyes are and stuff, and then kind of like the mouth opening. And then I had cut it like, you make the first slice right behind the pec fin.
Yeah.
So it had the collar part still on it. So that was all like intact. So I left like some meat on it intentionally, figuring I was gonna like cook this, right?
Yeah.
So I split it, and then I did like a little marinade. I did like soy sauce, mirin, little brown sugar, some ginger, little garlic, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get it. I was kind of going like an Asian route with it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like soak it in that. So I let it marinate
out at this point.
Dude, you're unreal. You're on. Yeah. Bart's like, he doesn't like Chinese food, Asian food.
That's so crazy.
Broke.
Adam, it's so good.
He's a lost soul.
I just don't like it. That's the only thing I don't eat. I don't really like it.
I don't know what to tell you.
Anyways, you continue with this.
Anyway,
I'm sure it was great.
Well, for the grown-up room. Okay, so I got this marinade rolling, got it in there, and I like let it sit for a couple hours. I'm like, because fish, like, it soaks it up pretty decent. Plus, dude, it's so fatty. Like, I could tell, like, just the grease rolling out of it. So I was like, there's so much fat in this head. It's unreal. So I take it out, and it's got like the brown sugar in it, right? And my intent, because I was like, I didn't want to make soup. That really didn't appeal to me that much. But I'm like, I'm gonna grill this thing. Ooh. So I got the grill ripping hot, like maxed out, right? And I just laid it down like the cut side down.
His butterflied head.
Right, yeah. So I just like lay them down, and they're just on this grill, just ripping. And I was like, oh, they're gonna be all grill marked up. This is gonna be unreal. So I let it go for like probably 5-6 minutes probably. And then I flipped it over onto like the skin side, right? And I can already tell this is gonna be unbelievable. Because it's like you can see the fat just like bubbling out of the meat.
Yeah.
Because like salmon's really fatty, but apparently like a lot of fish, like, you know how the belly meat is usually really fatty?
For sure.
So the whole head is like that.
Really?
So it's just like, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like super moist. I can tell. Like it's going to be so juicy. Because it's like you grab it with like a tongs and it's just dumping out.
Yeah.
Like this is like liquid. And I was like, oh yeah. So I get it onto the skin side. Now it's like the char is coming. And like I can see the skins like crisping up, getting charred.
Yeah.
And then right before I was about done, I flipped it back over and I had mixed chili oil and honey. And I spread it on the whole
little
thing.
Glaze.
Yeah. So like that, like hot, a chili.
Yeah.
Oil. Yeah. So chili oil and honey, mix that together, painted it on there, let it kind of caramelize on. And dude, I'm telling you, I've eaten a lot of fish. I've eaten a lot of different species, a lot of different parts of fish. This was by far the most moist bite of my life.
Wow.
It was like I was hydrated after eating this fish.
Really?
Yum.
Insane, dude. Like,
did it take the marinade? Like, did it?
Oh my God, dude, so much. Yes. And like, you know how in like a walleye you get that like cheek?
Yeah.
Okay. Salmon cheek, like half my palm. Okay.
Oh my God.
Inlaid in there, just this big nugget. And then you got all the meat like on the collar, and then the whole head, right? Because you got like all these different bones in the face and stuff. Yeah. It was just like eating chicken wings, dude. You'd have like a bone, like 4-inch long bone, and you just like pull all the meat off and just, oh God. Like, it's not something like you're probably going to want to do for like date night, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a messy operation, but I'm telling you right now, you could tear down 3-4 of these heads. No doubt. No doubt.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like,
so sweet.
So I'm picking my way through this. I'm like, this is legit. It's so good. This chili oil honey thing made it next level. So good. So then I'm getting down into it, and I'm like trying different parts of it. And I get, because these people are talking, dude, you got to eat these eyeballs. And I'm like, all right, let's roll. So salmon eyeball, about that fucking big right there. About the size of a quarter.
It's like the size of
Giant.
a quarter, okay?
Dude, and it's like this like kind of jelly whatever, and I'm just unreal, dude.
It was good.
It was so good.
What did it taste like? What was the texture like?
Dude, it's like hot jello. It's fucking weird, but it tastes so good.
Really?
It's like pure fat, dude. It's like everything you want, dude. Unreal. I would, like I said, I've never had it, would have never probably tried it, and I just went for it, dude. So good.
I'm interested in just like
So
what the
good.
flavor was, because like they always say like there's so much scent glands and just so much scent in general just in eyeballs, you know what I mean, in fish eyeballs, you know what I mean? That's why some guys will take eyeballs off the fish that they can where it's legal in whatever state they can, and like for perch, you know what I mean? If it's legal in your area, like people take perch eyes and put them on their hook. Yeah, it's just like it's so much. Wow.
Dude, but it was so, like, I'm telling you, because it's like,
I gotta get in on that next time you do it.
I mean, I'm talking like this whole head, maybe we're talking maybe a half pound of meat.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a solid amount of meat, like enough, like you eat it and you're like, that was legit. But dude, like, because you're kind of working through it like chicken wings, you know, so you kind of get like, it's satisfying and like you're going through it. I will say, like, if you were gonna do, because I could see doing this with like pike and stuff like that, where you know there's like a good amount of meat on there. And you just toss it anyway. Like, just grill this thing up. But you got it. Like, one thing I did notice though, you got to be a little careful when you're picking through the stuff, because the teeth start falling out. So if you're like, you got to be, you know what I'm saying? So like when you separate the stuff, you got to be like, I'm going to put the meat over here, put all the bones over here. Because if you kind of like intermingle everything, there's just fucking teeth everywhere.
Then you're just dancing. You're just dancing with the tooth.
Yeah. You're just sending it. But I'm telling you right now, it was one of the best fish, like, eating experiences I have had. Period.
That's some twisted fork right there. I like that.
And I probably say I have like 4 more in my freezer that I'm like,
I want in on it next time. Next time you do it, I want in.
We'll split.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
split
a viral video for Sobi
down the middle.
Let's do it.
Cooking a fish head,
dude. And I posted the picture of it on Instagram, and people were about it, dude. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, because I don't
know if I've seen that, dude. I'm looking at it right now.
Post it. It turned, because it's like the skin got all charred and the like chili oils painted. Dude, it looks so legit.
I feel like
it looked good.
Yeah,
it looked good.
Super badass, and like it would look good on a platter with like some other stuff.
Oh, that is sick.
Yeah.
Well, that is a good segment. Good segment of Twisted Fork, and for people
what we're gonna do,
I know Pink wants suggestions too.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is get in on like our social media DMs, send us some ideas, pretty much down to mess around with anything I get my hands on. I do keep a pretty good stock of some kind of interesting meat in my freezer that I acquire from certain places, but pretty much down for any suggestions. If there's stuff you've heard that sounded good or could potentially be not good, still open to try it. So fire it my way, and we'll get to cooking on some stuff here.
Sheep head,
love it.
Drum head.
Oof. Say less.
We can't just do all heads. That's what Twisted Fork turns into. Just he cooks heads. Remember that full
only,
circle,
bro.
Dahmer.
Now I was gonna say everything's come full circle now.
Yeah. No, but we'll. I mean, we only do every other week, so we will go into one more segment, just because I don't know when else this would come up, and I feel like it's a great time to bring it up since we don't have Honor here. You guys have tons of stories. We don't have Stolsky. We have a ton of stories with him. Yeah. But Sobi and Pink, you guys have a couple wicked stories. We cannot let this go on for like 40 to 50 minutes. But you guys got some wicked stories from Canada. I think I remember some wild storms being evaded, cooking on an island potentially.
Well, I'll take this one.
You guys roll into this. You guys roll into this. Right. We are going into one of our favorite segments. It is called Story Time. We're going to keep trying to do it more and more. And as people can tell, we've kind of integrated more stories throughout the last few podcasts because we haven't seen each other for a while. So we're getting more to the whole base of this. But yeah, we're going into Story Time. This is old school. Take it back. Yeah. How far long ago is this, Sobi? These videos are on your YouTube channel too. I do remember seeing them.
The YouTube channel, Sobi, S-O-B-I. And I'll open it up with this. This was years ago. I had the old Red Rocket.
So this is probably 4 years ago.
It was probably 4 years ago, and it was just impromptu. Ryan's like, "Dude, let's
might have been Canada. 5 years ago. It was your first year doing it, wasn't it?
I think it's just 4. I really think it's just 4, even though it seemed.
It's 4 4 or 5.
I'll look it up.
4 or
I'll
5.
look it up on
Right.
your YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Google it.
Yeah. But either way, like it's just very impromptu trip to Canada. Ryan and I just, roughed it, DIY type of deal. And that was one thing I always looked up to Ryan right away. It's like
You would be
he's
correct.
gotten 4 years.
4?
Yeah, it says 3 years ago, but that's because it's like 3 years and 11 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we just do this DIY trip and Ryan has no fear. He has been here before, but I'm just like, we threw everything in the boat. We threw rods, we threw baits, last minute
When we
deal.
were camping.
And we were camping. Yeah. We're camping, on the shore of this beautiful Canadian lake. And one thing I thought was so cool, and this kind of, touches on the last segment between, kind of the twisted fork is, when you're packing light, when you're doing DIY stuff, you're just like, yeah, we'll get some stuff at Walmart. We'll grab wraps, we'll grab some ham, we'll grab burgers, brats, whatever. Like we were up there to fish, kind of like could care less what we eat type of deal. And we grease it out. We'll go to the Don's and on the way up, we'll drink some bangs. But like Ryan's always got these cards in his back pocket that he's holding and he doesn't show them right away. So I'm like, I've acquired this trail mix and Chex Mix and a variety of just cold cut meats and some dogs, some, Johnsonville cheddar brats. And Ryan just like after, 2 days of us just grinding super hard, he's like messing with this crock pot at like 4 a.m.
Well, dude, and then we got the guy because we were just camping at this place.
Yes.
And he's like, dude, like if you have an extension cord, like we needed like 200 feet of extension cord, but there was an outlet down by the dock. And I was like, money.
So Ryan is just like early in the morning up before we go fishing. I'm filming some stuff. He's just like doctoring up this ginormous piece of meat next to the tailgate of his truck. And I just roll out of bed, get the goop out of my eyes. And I just watch Ryan just putting this coating on this giant mule deer shoulder. And he's like, I'm going to slow cook this beautiful mule deer shoulder, bone in, by the way. The bone was in there. Yeah. And we're going to come back and we're going to feast on this. And at 4 a.m, my mouth was drooling. But when we came back, you could smell it.
And I had put it in the topper of my truck with it because I was like, dude, a bear is going to eat this for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we're in the bush, right? And
yeah.
Dude, I remember opening that thing and just being like in the face, just like the best. Like, dude, it was insane.
The best.
I'll
mark that down.
For like 14 hours.
Yes.
It's cooking.
Slow cooked. It was juicy. It was delicious. Like I said, the bone was in. And if you know anything about meat, dude, it's like there's so much flavor in the bone and the fat. Oh my gosh. I'm putting it. Dude. If it's not number one, it's 100% number two. I can't think of another one. Best camping meal, best fish meal I've ever had. And we had just been musky fishing our freaking tails off. Tired as all hell, beaten and broken, got rained on, got sweated, got rained on again. We come back and we're sitting by the campfire just beating down this mule deer shoulder that Ryan took some claws to, and he just freaking shredded up, and we had these sandwiches, and it was in wraps. And
it was like 6 pounds of meat. And we housed like almost 3/4 of dude, it was like we were eating.
We were eating heavy. We were rejuvenating. We were carb loading down.
Dude, you know what I remember from that night though was we had that, and it was so good. We were doing all this stuff, and you're like, bro, I brought this can of beans, dude, and I was like, fuck yeah, that'll be lit. And you were like gonna cook it on the fire, like, oh yeah, dude, like I do this all the time. And you opened it and you put it on there, and then it like had like a plastic liner on the inside, and like it melted. And then we were like, oh, dude, this is not good. Because it was
so bad.
And then Sam's like, yeah, dude, I think that's like a new thing. Like, you can't cook them on the fire anymore. He's like, they put this plastic. And you can't.
Dude, it is new. It's new. It's a new thing. Back in the day, you could open up a can of Chef Boyardee or anything, and you could cook it on your buddy heater. You cook whatever. If you cook stuff in the can nowadays, I swear, it's like, if it's not Bush's, it's just like, ugh.
It literally tastes like plastic. It was so terrible.
And I was embarrassed, dude. I just literally couldn't even cook these beans in a matter of 10 minutes as Ryan slow cooks a freaking mule deer bone-in shoulder for a 14-hour just slow cook roast.
I will say we ate like kings on that trip, dude. And because we kept a bunch of fish too. Remember, we were doing like, oh, dude, we had like breakfast fish burritos and stuff. Like, unreal. But
there was a lot of good stories on that trip. First of all, and
Do you remember the dude? Do you remember that guy that really tough?
Well, the guy at the camp or what?
The guy at the camp, yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy at the camp was legit. He's like, dude, you guys got to come moose hunting with me and shit.
Yeah. It's like me and my wife, my kids, we all just dice up these moose. We smoke moose. First day, limit out every day.
Yeah, literally. He's like, I don't even go up north anymore. It's like, I got my big one. I just drive around here and shoot a moose quick. But dude, I remember from that one because I had like a couple stories that like stood out big time. But like one was like probably one of the sketchiest experiences I remember of like any trip I've been on was so that one night we ran probably it was 15, 20 miles probably.
You made a run.
We went up that river or whatever, and we were fishing up there all day. And that was the day we actually caught some muskies, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we're like fishing in this river, and then there's a wedding going on at this camp. And because Sam, when we were initially going up there, we were kind of like poking around, like, oh, where could we stay? And I was like, well, I stayed at this place, and I know they'll let us camp there. But you were trying to like swing, like maybe we could get a cabin somewhere. And you're kind of like trying to like, oh, hey, we'll like film some stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like,
that's like the most OG play ever when we go on trips and it's like, I don't want to camp. You're like, well, I take pictures.
Yeah.
So we say the name of your cabin.
So Sam tried that at like this other place, and they were like, oh, like maybe, but like we're booked. The whole place is booked for this wedding.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about it on the way up there. And we're like, God, that's like a sick spot for a wedding, blah, blah, blah. And then Sam was even like, dude, we should have just brought suits. Like, how could they turn you down if you just rolled up in a wedding in the bush?
It would have been incredible. They would have, no one would have questioned us.
No, you could just, so anyway, so
we should have crashed this Canadian.
So we didn't have any suits at all, but we're up on this end of the lake, and we're kind of like, they are partying hard. And it's like, oh God. And it's like about sunset. Like we totally should be like, definitely running back because this lake has like barely any maps of it. And it's like rock piles, like you will die.
Sketchy.
And we have one track line from the one trip we made out from this camp, 20 miles. And we're in Sam's boat. And I remember I was driving, and we're fishing up in this river. And then we're kind of like talking like, oh yeah, that'd be funny if we like got in this wedding. Right. And we're like, haha, yeah. And then we're like fishing around in front, and it's like getting dark. And I think we were both kind of like, fuck, we should like go back. We're like, what if, right?
But what if?
And then so we're like, we just need an in. Like there's like a legit conversation happening of like how we're gonna get in. Because it's
we thought about this. We were plotting this.
And so we're like, God, we just need like somebody to like acknowledge us or whatever. And then just one guy by himself walks down alone to the dock, and we're like, oh my God, this is the drunk uncle. This is our shot. Like we're at one boat in the bush, trolling motoring up to the dock, and it's dark. It is nighttime now. It is dark. and so now we're kind of like all in. We're like, well, we're not going back. Like we gotta make this happen. We gotta like stay here tonight. Like I don't know. So we're like schmoozing with this guy on the dock, and we're kind of like, this is going pretty good. We're like, we troll and motor like into a dock slip. Now,
yeah.
We're like literally right there. And we're talking to this guy forever and ever and ever. And we're like, come on. Eventually he's got to be like, come have a beer, right?
Yeah.
We're like,
come have a beer. I'm just saying.
Come on. And there's like 200 people in this tent. Like
it's bumping. It's bumping.
And we're like, come on. And then eventually I think Sam might have offered him a beer. Like, hey, you want a beer? Oh, I don't drink. Oh my God, the sales deflate. We're like, we have no chance. This is sober, like Bible banging uncle that's just like hanging out by the dock because everyone ditched him. We're like, great. Here we go.
He's not hitting the dance floor. He's not partying.
So
he's just down enjoying the sun.
Right. And now we're like, all right, pull the plug. And now he wants to chat. And we're like, no. Like
we have to migrate 20 miles in the dark through this freaking.
Right. So now we're like, now what, dude? Like we got this 20-mile run back through all these rock islands. We have one track line on the GPS. And we're like, and it's like new moon. There is zero light. And so we just start like, we're not even like on pad, dude. We're just like quarter throttle, just like, God, I hope we don't die. And we made it all the way. I remember that just being like a white knuckle, just like, fuck. Like, I think I was like, dude, just stand on the bow and pray we don't hit something. And I was just like staring at the GPS.
Lake, it's like it's milk jug city. Like there's not contours, some of this stuff, and there's just milk jugs from the locals half the time. So if you could hit 50 things pretty easily. There's like 10 milk jugs on
And
those 50
everything's
things.
rock. Everything
Yeah.
is rock. There's nothing that isn't rock. So we're like going, and we make it back. We make it back, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that was. And now it's super late at night. And then we get back, and I don't remember what we did. We probably didn't do shit that night, but we get back, and I remember laying in the tent, and there being an absolute Vision Quest powwow happening on the other side of the bay from us, like council fire, just like screaming.
It was just been a long day, a long night. Ah!
Like it was unbelievable, dude. And it was
Can't
so
write
fun.
it.
It was so funny because on the way there, that was when you were like, dude, we got to listen to this Tribe Called Red. And I was like, oh, I'm about it, dude. And then we're like living in it.
We're living in it. And it was just like really late at night too. So it seemed
It was like 2 a.m.
oh yeah, they were like, there was a celebration of all celebrations happening. You know what I mean?
Just
the biggest
tribal
of moose
screaming. Tribal screaming. Oh my
so
God,
eerie.
dude.
It was very eerie.
It was. And it was pitch black. And there's like no other sound other than these people just giving her over there. I was like,
We're giving it all the
my
gas.
God.
If you thought Adele could belt it, no.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Dude. God, that was such a good trip. Oh, dude, and
That was
that's
incredible
the
trip.
storm was probably like one of the highlights of that trip. for me.
yeah. We'll go
Did you
into
guys
that
end-
on another one. I want to
I
save
was gonna
that for
say,
a different one.
What?
I was gonna say, didn't you guys get into some rundown cabin or some shit?
Yeah, this
did.
abandoned moonshine shack on an island, but we're saving that. I'm banking that for a different
All right,
pod.
we'll save that one because there was a lot of other stuff that happened on that. But dude, the fishing, dude, Canada muskie fishing is stupid.
It's sick.
And that was, dude, it was a bad trip, honestly. We had like really bad, like this lake, it had blown like 30 to 40 miles an hour west wind for like 4 days before we got there.
Yeah.
And the whole place was destroyed. Like I had been there a couple months, like I think probably 2 months prior, and we whacked them. Like we did really, really good, and it was like way cleaner and like I don't know, it just fished a lot different then. But like we caught it.
Were we there in July? When were we?
No,
there?
we went.
It was like
we went-
September, if
we
I
went,
remember right, wasn't it?
Labor Day weekend was when we
Oh,
went. So
no
the
kidding.
last weekend of August.
No kidding.
So we were like, yeah, later because I think when I was there 4th of July weekend, and then went back with you like
Yeah.
in end of August or whatever. But dude, like it's just like everywhere you want there to be fish, there are. You know,
It's so sweet, and
like
it's
just textbook muskie fishing, and it's just like I don't know, you just get so many shots like that. That was a weird trip just for like how much, you know, I don't know. It was just tough because we couldn't see any fish or whatever. But we caught some absolute magnum pike, dude.
we did, yes.
Just like donks. That was
And we
insane.
had some epic eats at epic times, like and
Oh.
some close encounters by the boat, and like far cast eats, like crazy. Like
dude. Yeah, and
I
we-
want to
and
go
we-
back there and throw top water so bad.
I do
I
too.
want to commit just to top water.
Yeah, and
'cause I know they'd smoke it.
yeah, and dude, I went back on a trip after that and did that and caught some big ones doing top. Like I had a day, we had a 4-fish day, and I caught 2 45 inchers on a fat bastard in
That's so sick.
2 spots.
It's so sick.
It was just like next level, and because the water's dirty there, and it's like it fishes
Yeah.
shallow, so it's like
Just a
when they
straight.
eat it,
Was
they
it
just
straight
split.
black?
Straight black, yeah, just burning it over a shallow rock flat and just annihilated, dude. But that, yeah, everything up there's cool. There's a lot of lakes I'd like to go to up there that are just even further out there. But I don't know, dude. That
We got to go back. I think we should go back
We-
this summer.
we-
We have to plan it and go.
I want to go this weekend.
I want to
Like, I
go.
want to go right now. But yeah, dude, yeah, everything up there is so legit. But just everything about that was awesome because I just remember it poured ass rain. We were just like sleeping in a goddamn tent, like next to the dock. Like we had the boat tied up at a dock. We just had the tent posted up like right on a hill right next to it. We're like, yep, we're living.
It was awesome, dude. It
This
was
is
so
the
awesome.
dream.
This is the dream.
It
yeah.
was. It was the dream.
Dude, and it was sick because like there was no one else camping. Like
No.
it was just us. So like the people, because it was like at a lodge too. Like
Yeah.
we were just too cheap to like get a cabin, and because they were like, oh, you can camp, and it was like dude, I want to say it was like $10. It was like ridiculous.
And we're like, cool.
And they're like, oh, we have this little like shower thing too. And it was like a little like or just like a wooden box with like a fucking shower head in there. And I was like, I'm about it. So we had like
So
they let us post up at their place, and they were like, these boys are hardcore. Because like the guy would come down every day and be like, how'd you do? Like he wanted to know the report.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And he was like hyped on it. And he's just over there like cleaning rowboats and stuff. And he's like, y'all catch him.
Y'all catch him.
But he was a good old boy, man. But yeah, dude, the cabin thing we'll have to save. That was like legit.
Yeah, we're saving that.
Oh boy.
No, that's good. But just thinking on like when you guys are camping there and stuff, I know like I've gotten this feeling like even when you're down doing tournaments down south or when we were in the UP or in Maine or like whatever filming, like it's kind of a cool nostalgic feeling when like you are out there like doing that on a filming trip and you're just like, we're doing it. You know, like you think back to like high school or middle school or like whatever, and you're just like, oh my God, we're actually doing this. Like this, like it just like hits you all of a sudden, and you're like, how many other people are doing this like we are? And the answer is like very little. And it's very cool.
Especially
when you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in a place like that, especially when you're just tenting it and there's no one else. So like at night, you're just like laying there and you're like, huh, all right.
I remember being like in second, third, and fourth grade and stuff. And like, you know, you'd do like, especially at the beginning of the school year or something, you'd write stuff down of like, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's something you would want to do? What's some blah, 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 blah. I always said like, I want to try fishing in Canada, even if it's just once. You know what I mean? That seemed like such a far-fetched thing to do ever. You know what I mean? It seemed almost like impossible. Like maybe someday I'll get to go to Canada and fish. And then like when you can just do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you just do it with a buddy and it's so DIY and it's just, and then you do get some success and it comes together. But you, like you said, sitting around a campfire, like you're just like, damn, we out here.
Well, dude, and it's like you can do so much stuff like that where there's like hunting trips too. Cause like I feel like that's why I've been able to do a lot of stuff is because I just like went and did it and like like I didn't have a place to stay. Like it was just like, let's just figure it out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which like the first time you go somewhere it blows because you like have no idea what you're like trying to figure it out. But like once you have like a spot, like if we went back, I would camp at that same place. I'd be like, it's dialed. Like I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. Like let's hammer. But like sometimes it's like down and dirty. Like I don't have a bunch of money. Like I'm just going. Like I'm not gonna get like where am I gonna stay? It's not like there's a hotel. Like what the fuck? Like where are we gonna go? It's the bush, dude.
Like, it is the bush, dude. Nothing wrong.
Sleep in a truck seat.
I've probably spent more days camping it, doing like cool shit than I have ever been like staying at somebody's cabin or something.
For sure.
You know, because it's like that's how you get out there and just get after it. But that was like, dude, I love fishing camping trips so much. Like, the hunting thing, it's like you're always like you're pretty much always camping. Like you go out west, it's like you're camping somewhere to hunt. But like a lot of times, like around here, you're just like fishing from home or like staying at somebody's house or whatever. But it's like to just go up there because it's like you wake up and what are you going to do? Well, fish.
I think there is something so beautiful about that. Like when you are way out there or you're on a fishing camping trip, like that's the agenda. You know what I mean? The agenda is to literally eat food, sleep, and live, and then everything else. It's like we're going fishing, and it's like when we're just gonna fish all day, and then we come back when it's dark because like. Yeah, like that's what we're doing
about that too. Because we were like, dude, next time we come back, we could probably score like a cabin or something. But we're like, we should just camp it because otherwise, otherwise you're gonna come back and you're like, oh, let's just go back to like if all you got waiting for you is a tent that just got rained on, you're like, let's fish, let's explore like more of this or whatever. So it's like it almost forces you to just stay out there and like learn it more and like get after it.
And I know like this is a podcast, this is a form of social media, and all three of us are very, you know, tapped into social media, but there is something so sweet when you get off the grid and your phone doesn't even ring, you're not even looking at it because the shit's not going to load anyways. And you just almost like get a full mind reset, I think. And you almost, I don't know, I just feel like you're almost like legit living then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're just in the moment, dude, like getting it.
Yeah.
I think that helps enjoy it though too, because you're not like and it was okay. We did film a ton
Because like
Yeah.
I was filming, you were filming, like we put out there was actually a good amount of videos that came out of that trip, and they were
Yeah.
like pretty good, I thought. It was a hell of an adventure, and I'm glad we filmed it because that type of
I'm
stuff,
so glad we
like
filmed
even
it.
if you didn't edit it that good or whatever, it's like at least you still have that. But it's like you can look back on that and like be like, yeah, that was sick. And like
Dude,
we have
yeah.
literally
It's
like
almost
documented the
easier.
whole thing.
It's like easier to edit it too when you don't have any of that outside stuff going on. You're like, I have a
100%.
camera and me and a boat, and this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was fun as hell, dude. And it was just the two of us, and
Yeah.
like that was it. Like it was pretty baller. Dude.
It was badass.
Yeah. So we definitely got to do that again. It's a sick place, and it's like you learn more every time you go. So it's like I'd like to unpack. I've been there several times now, so I have I think a little more idea of like what to do like up there
Yeah.
to like catch more and do that kind of thing. But it's dude, anything Canada, and there's a lot of good places. Like everyone goes to like Lake of the Woods, Eagle Lake, that type of stuff. But there's so many other places.
Yeah.
Like, dude, as much as like I love going there and doing all that other stuff, like, dude, like Lac Sewell sounds insane.
It sounds really cool.
And it's like it's up there, dude.
It is up
It's
there.
far, and it's like you have to drive a ton of gravel, which is why I
That
think a lot
sounds-
of people don't love going there. Because like obviously if you're towing a glass boat or something, you need like you got to go prepared. Like you just
Yeah.
go up there, you're gonna like destroy your gear. But like there's some places like end of the earth stuff up there. Even like some lake trout fishing that would just be like crazy to be able to
Oh my
take your own
gosh.
boat to,
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's so many drive-to opportunities just right across the border
Yes.
that are like untouched fishing.
But that place has got
Yeah.
that place is I'm gonna be going there for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. So we gotta go back. We gotta
Maybe we could do a pod from up there. How cool would that be?
yeah, we'd have to probably get a cabin for that.
Or we just go in the lodge
Yeah.
one night. We could go in the lodge one night.
Yeah, I don't know if they have
We
Wi-Fi.
need- that's where, once again, peeps, we need you. Rate,
We-
subscribe, spread the
need-
word.
Yeah.
We need to
budget.
get bigger. Get us.
I
take the
think there's-
budget.
They
We'll
must
do
have
all
some
that
internet there
cool shit.
because they sold fishing licenses there, so they
They did.
had to have some internet. It's possible, boys.
It is possible.
For sure. Well, do you guys have any other stories you want to dive into from there? We're holding till another time.
I'm holding out.
We'll
I'm holding the
hold 'em.
cards.
We'll hold them because we could go for hours here, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude,
Well,
that's just a little
then-
taste. That's a taste.
yeah, that's a taste. Well, that's what we got. Yeah, Sobi, welcome to Pass the Barb. We probably
Gracias.
won't get a logo redesigned for a while, so you're just kind of left out for now. You can be Will. Just
That's fine. I could
you
be
just
Will.
Sub him for Will. Yeah, we'll just
He's
get
better looking than
you
me,
know,
anyways. I would take that all day. Just when people
Yeah.
ask, "Oh, who's that?" "Oh, that's Sobi." "Oh,
Yeah.
right on."
yeah, exactly.
Dude,
Yeah,
that way
yeah.
better looking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So for the peeps, yes, Sobi is here now, and we'll be rolling every other week throughout the summer, like we've said. And yeah, please rate, subscribe, share this with your friends. But in the meantime, thank you for listening to another episode of Pass the Barb.